Lovely touch from him though. Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, can you do something, please? Last chance, Matt Doherty! Oh, you shite! There could be from the dead to the don't fuck it up now, don't win it! Let's go for chance! Stephen Bergwijn! Stephen Bergwijn's through! Win it, Stephen! Come on! Yes! He's won it! He's gonna win it! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh! We did it! Welcome! It is Thursday! It is the 2022 version of April the 28th. And you're back here with me at the Spurs Talk Show. How's everybody doing? You know how I'm doing? I'm doing bad. You know why I'm doing bad? Because I've just watched my intro for the 100th time. And two things have just become apparent to me. One is that I swear 5 times in the commentary, in the intro. No wonder I get delayed impressions. No wonder. This whole 10-minute rule, I break it in the intro. Madness. I've got to change that. And the other thing is, I'm not sure I want to point it out, but I will point it out because honesty is the best policy. I think when I stand up and I'm celebrating, I think there's a little bit of piss on my grey trousers. Hadn't noticed that before. Don't know how I feel about sharing that with the public. Anyway, so it's a bad start. But it's going to get better from here. We got an awesome eclectic panel this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get to them and before we get to you, just want to remind you how you can find us. You can find us at the Spurs Talk Show on Instagram and on Twitter and on YouTube. You're already here. If you're not already here, then you won't be hearing this, so it doesn't matter. But if you find out later on and you want to find more of this, then you have to look for Spurs Talk Show, all one word, hashtag never any spaces. I've told you why before. You should by now know, yet still, I check their channel. Spurs Talk Show, the San Antonio Spurs version. Their subscriber count is going up all the time. They haven't posted any content in 4 years. What is going on, people? It's not a coincidence. It's annoying me. So find me at Spurs Talk Show, all one word. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to calm down. I'm not riled. Hope everyone's doing okay. Hope everyone's having a better Thursday 6 p.m. slot than I am right now. It's all going to get better now. You know why? We got people. We got the best of the best in the show today. And we're going to start bringing them in as we talk about the preview for the Leicester City game and also get through some of the news that's happening in and around Tottenham over the last 24, 48 hours. First, but no means least. No, this last, but by no means least. So first and by sometimes least, but actually not in this case least, because he's actually awesome. We're going to bring him in the order that they came in. If you're looking for stats, then you might find him right here. If you're looking for some kind of East Coast accent, the swing from Atlanta, ladies and gentlemen, please bring him in. The man, the myth, the legend that is 80% brown, but 20% ginger. By his own rationale, it's Mr. Will Stewart.
Stat man.
I'm stat man. How are you, Will?
I'm doing good.
I love that. It's a fantastic intro. I need to get these little audio things that you've got where you can change your voice. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to add to your trauma of watching your intro for the 100th time, but I think your pockets are inside out too on your sweatpants.
Oh no! Oh no! What am I going to do? I'm going to have to change the whole intro. I like the intro as well. It's all going to have to go.
That's a good intro. I like it.
Never mind. Stay there, Will. I appreciate you coming on, buddy. This is a welcome back because you haven't been on for a while. And there's another welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, he made his debut, I think 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, because time flies. I think it was 3 weeks ago. If you're looking for someone who's welcome and they're welcome back, he spent a long time asleep. But now he couldn't be more awake. Ladies and gentlemen, he is known around the community as the nice guy, the guy who everyone would love to see more of, and we're happy that we do. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Bobspur TV. Mr. Bobspur, how are you, my friend?
All good, and I don't always sleep through your intro. Yeah, I noticed the stains as well, mate. Some people call it piss, some people call it jizz, but whatever suits you best. And I love the way you had to check your phone to see what day it was.
Yeah, you know what? Why? Forget about the date thing. If you've all noticed it, why wouldn't someone have told me? I've been playing that intro for the last 4 months. No one's told me.
I just think it's funny. And also, I have been a long time. Yeah, guys, everyone, you need to subscribe to this channel. I've been subscribed for God knows how long, and your basketball content is fucking amazing.
We hate Texas. We hate Texas on this channel. I'm very angry with those people. Stay there, mate. We got another man, the myth, the legend. You know him as I knew him, as the man who had the audacity and the arrogance, the only man in the community to put numbers in his name. That was how he used to be known, but now he's known as the only man in the community. He formerly was known as the guy who had the audacity to put numbers in his name, and now is the guy in the community who copies other people who put numbers in their name. It's Cuba 99.
Even the intro's taken a long time now, Sean. I'm impressed.
4 minutes, 8 minutes in. Fuck.
Anyway, don't worry about the little pea stain. I mean, I didn't hear about it on the channel at all. I just looked up porn, Sean's.shame.com.
Yeah. Sean Hub.
Yeah. I didn't notice the stain, but I did notice the pockets. But...
Fuck's sake. I didn't know. I didn't know it was going to be such a monumental moment in the Tottenham season.
Rest assured, from now on, we'll be mentioning it every 2 minutes.
Yep. Right. Start calling you pockets.
I'm going to change my intro immediately.
You need one of those eye tracker things to sort of zoom in on it.
You shouldn't have said this. Cody's right now clipping it and doing everything we just said.
I know. I'm still not sure it is piss. It might be an ice cube or a bit of water or something that's dropped out of my... I don't know.
You yourself has...
I'm suggesting it's a plausible possibility, you know?
You can't back out of it now.
All right, I'll own it.
That's not saying I've killed someone. No, I haven't.
I might have done. I might have killed someone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there is another man that's coming into the group. He's just waking up, believe it or not. Speaking of some other types of hubs that he's been watching all night long, but we're going to be getting to him in a moment when he joins us to talk about Leicester and Tottenham and all things in the news. But before we get there, let's have a look and see who's in the chats. First up, welcome, Eugene. How are you, my friend?
Eugene.
Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, my friend. On your bike, Scotty. Hello, everyone. Hi, mate. How you doing? It's good to see you, buddy. Nick, Barry, Banty, Banjit, Ranjit. Nick Collison is in the house. Come on in. What time do you call this? Sean has been asking those long-winded questions again. I gotta stamp this nonsense narrative out that I'm long-winded.
It's not a narrative.
There's 18 reasons why that's not the case. Cody Mack's in the house. If he doesn't start soon, it'll be game day by the time we get going. Come on, you Shawns. Lol. Hi, mate. Nice to see you, Cody. I hope you're well, buddy. Iggy's in the house as well. Good evening, Iggy.
Biggs.
Good to see you. Iggy versus Stella in the cook-off, May 23rd. I'm not sure what that's referring to. I'm interested in finding out, though. Mark Lager Cousins in the house. Hello, mate. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. As is Leon M96. Is that like a motorway that you live nearby, Leon? Or are you like Leon Matthews and you were born in 1996? I'd be curious to know the history behind that name. Checkmate 734. We're alive. We are alive. We were only 4 minutes late. 3 minutes late. Everyone's getting right on the old piss pants, Sean. Cody, don't. No, not that guy. I'm not sure who you're referring to.
I think me.
Also,
Checkmate doesn't like me.
Oh. Is that Checkmate 734 or is that Checkmat and he's got an additive E734?
Yeah, exactly. What's the history behind your name? I'm sorry to hear that you're not a fan of Will Stewart, but I love him.
He's not the only one, so it's okay.
No, I've got plenty of haters as well. Pockets inside out as well. Amazing. Oh, Jesus. You try and be honest.
Big up.
Staines as well. Yes, I know, Nick. You had to get me. Aaron Dove's in the house. Man, it's only 6 p.m. and already we're talking about piss and jizz.
That's what happens when Bob comes on the show.
Well, I have that effect on many a men.
Bobby Kate in the house saying, big up Sean, Will Coover and Bob. Great name. Hi to everyone in the chat. Let's go San Antonio. Scott M's in the house. I'm here for the Tim Duncan and David Robinson discussion.
Tim Duncan was a great power forward.
In basketball. Okay. I see that. Okay, I got it. Who else in the house? GRL58. Hi, Graham. How you doing, mate? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well, mate. And Leon M96. The M is the initial of my surname. There you go. Be a lot more interesting if you live by, like, I don't know, Blackburn, where the M96 passes through or something, but makes sense. All right, guys, 20 people in the house. If you haven't already, please hit the like and the subscribe button. As always on this channel throughout the show, I am going to be putting in the links for people in the community, especially obviously Will's and Bob Spurs and Kuba's if Kuba had one, and also Brian Daigle when he gets round to joining us after clearing himself up and putting the tissues away. And we're going to get straight...
an issue out of his crinkly tissue.
Don't make an issue of his crinkly tissues, indeed. All right, so first and foremost, let me just go around the houses and find out how everyone's doing. Will, how are you, mate? How excited are you about this weekend?
Excited, but I'm doing great. But yeah, no, I always enjoy watching Tottenham play. So.
Twice, right? You always watch them twice.
Yes. Second time sometimes isn't that fun, but.
Okay, before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, I know why he was really late. He wasn't having a wank. He was actually waiting so he could get his doorbell done. Ring my bell. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, he's no longer been working out his fingers. He's been working out his wrists. It's Brian Daigle.
Okay, so first of all, Bob Spurs, you go fuck off. It's going a little bit. What can I say? Yeah, all good. And I just realised when I messaged you to say I was being late, Sean, I just gave you 15 minutes to talk and do your intro, so I weren't late. I just couldn't be bothered with the intro. But hello to everyone.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
All good silence there for a minute. But no, I hope everyone's well.
Wonderful. All right, Bob Spur, how are you feeling about Leicester generally? Are you? I'm going to get into all the specifics and the reasons why as we go through it all. But just generally, are you disappointed, pumped? Are you excited or nervous? How are you feeling?
100% confident. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a confident little so-and-so. So yeah, we've not turned up last two games. About time our lauded world-class players showed up, like Kane, Sonny, and do their business. Expect 3 points. We'll all get 3 points, and it's on we go. Get that fourth place we need, deserve, and we'll get.
I do love hearing your opinions, Matt, because I'll tell you what, I'm usually glass half full, but I've been feeling a little bit less so over the last
good
sort of 10 days, and it's nice to hear that someone out there is still absolutely optimistic. And you know what? Someone else is absolutely optimistic. Is Kuba. You've changed. You've completely done a 180 on your takes over in the sort of early part of the second half of the season, Kuba. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm also confident. I've always said with this team, throw me a bone and I'll back them. I'll see the direction the team's going, even if we've had a couple of flat results. We're on an upward trajectory, and Conte's taken us places. So I'm fully up for this one. Leicester, Harry Kane, good two combination of words. Those he always likes to score a few there. So
yeah, he does.
No fear.
I think Harry Kane has scored more goals. I'll go to Will for this to confirm this, but is it right he scored more goals against Leicester than any other team? Is that right, is it?
Who's that?
Harry Kane.
I only do Sun stats.
Fair enough. Brian.
Yes, sir.
My man. How are you feeling going into the Leicester game? Just generally before we get into the way we're going to structure it today, we're going to get through some of the news that's out in the media over the last 24 hours. There's a couple of talking points I want to get through there, and then once we get all that shit out of the way, then we're going to get into the Leicester game. But I just want to get your how confident are you before for Sunday?
Yeah, I'm feeling fairly optimistic. As I've said, I think we need to get off to a fast start, or the atmosphere, as you know, Sean, because you'll be there. The atmosphere in there will turn badly the longer we don't get off or don't start playing well. I have a feeling we're going to win. But I have to ask Bob a question. Bob, we haven't won for 2 games. Is it a run now?
No.
for 2 wins is.
Yeah.
Love it.
2 wins.
Because it's a loss and a draw, Brian. It's not 2 losses. Yeah.
No,
it's not
but
a
it's
run.
still a run of bad form. Or not a run. I say 3, like I said, we're winning.
No,
but Bob after 2 was like, we're on a run now. We're on a run.
No.
Okay, so it's only a run if we won.
If it's 2 defeats or 2 draws, then that'll be a run. Runs are consistent.
Yeah, different results. Bob's correct. Statman
Okay,
says.
I thought my phone was funny. Now I just look stupid.
I got him to
I'm so
confirm
happy
it.
I
He's
woke up
confirmed
to
it.
come here. I'm so happy.
So Brian, it's 1 p.m. What were you asleep all morning into
No,
the?
mate, you know what? Recently, my sleep has just been so random. It's like last night I was in bed by 10:30. I woke up feeling I'd been asleep for hours. It was like 1 minute to midnight. I was like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. I hate when that happens.
Then I woke up at 3. Then my cat wakes me up at 5. Then I can get back to sleep till 10. And then literally I just woke up when I called you to say I'm making myself a bowl of cereal and a cup of tea. My sleep has been all over the place at the moment.
To be fair, waking up at 10 to midnight is good because isn't Babe Station free between?
Oh, what are you fucking... What you said, so that's Babe Station. I've elevated from dwarf porn to Babe Station now.
If you go to Babe Station like number 5, there's like usually about 5 or 6 options. You go to that one of the last ones, you get some really weird like kind of seedy stuff on there. So maybe
you've heard.
Also, Bob, remember what country I'm in? We ain't got Babe Station here, so.
That's a shame.
Le Babe Station.
There's a reason to come home earlier than June.
Or the French. I'm not in Montreal or Quebec.
All right. Okay.
All right, so let's move into the purpose of the content, which is not to hear about Brian's fetishes, and move into.
I'm gonna kill you, Bob. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Have I understood anything?
No, you're the one that started this whole thing, so I will be the one to end it.
So you say?
That's what she said. All right, guys.
That's why he's late.
Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg, right? The big one out. The big news that I think that you can give a little bit of credibility to, given the range of sources that it was found in over the last 24 hours. Newcastle are readying a bid. Some people are saying 25 million. Some people are saying 30 million for Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. I talked about this on my Tottenham walk yesterday with Bugsy, and Bugsy didn't really have much to say on it. So I'm asking you guys, what are your general thoughts? We'll start with Will at the top. Is he someone that you would be willing to let go generally? If so, what is the right price? And does it come with conditions like, you get rid of Winks first or whatever? I'll let you run with it how you want to.
Get rid of Winks to sell Hojbjerg? That's definitely not a condition. Yeah, I mean, everybody's for sale. To be honest with you, what price would be 30 million for me? Seems a bit low.
Low. Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought that would like double your money, almost triple your money on him.
Well, we spent what was it, like 15 and 19 million?
I thought he cost us 12.
Technically, we bought him for 3 million.
Yeah,
because we paid
that's because we sold 14.
We sold 15. We bought him for 15, but we sold Cole Walker-Peters back for 12.
12, yeah.
Yeah. So that's 15, 30, double your money. What does Ward-Prowse cost?
40.
Okay, then we sell Hojbjerg for 40.
It'd be a great swap, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be a great if we could pay off most of that transfer and get a Ward-Prowse or a Tillmans. Talking about the team we're playing against, he'd be a wonderful player. Bob Spur.
I don't know why the fuck we're talking about selling players at this time moment. Newcastle can kindly fuck off. We need to be building a squad. Hojbjerg has been important. Do we need to improve in quality? Of course we do. But it's been a major part of our run that we had earlier, and which got us from nowhere to top 4 and within a fighting a chance of finishing top 4. Hojbjerg's, if we improve in quality, which I think we will, if Conte gets who he wants, he's an ideal squad person. There are many players before him who'd we want to see moved on. But Hojbjerg, he's a Spurs player, gives it his all. One thing you can question his quality at times, but you can never question his determination, and he always gives 100%. He's a constant 7 out of 10 for me. And we should not be looking. I don't care how much money they're fucking coming with. If we're going to show we're going places, 30 million for a Hojbjerg, nah. Newcastle, if you're listening, fuck off. No chance. We're building a squad, not losing first team players.
Kuba, do you agree, or do you think that Hojbjerg is someone where we've seen the best that we can see out of him? Like to Bob's point, he is Mr. Consistent. He does do a fantastic job, but is the ceiling? Have we seen the highest performances we can? And if we want to go on to the next level, does he have enough in him to be anything more than a squad player? Would you be happy to let him go, or do you want to see him just relegated to a squad status?
Oh, sorry. I think we can't afford to let him go yet. We haven't got a full squad yet. We've got loan players to sort out first. What's happening with them? They can certainly be on their bikes. Hopefully, Lo Celso's drumming up a bit of value for himself in this Champions League run. Hojbjerg does okay. Yes, I agree with Bob that almost everybody's replaceable. We can upgrade them. But Hojbjerg's not one of the problem people at the moment. I'd sooner see Winks on his bike. I'd sooner see quite a few of the others on their bike. Hojbjerg will fit in as a squad player no matter what, even though I'm not a big fan of his. I do think there are better players out there. I would love a Ward-Prowse or someone like that in his place. But Hojbjerg will always come in, give you his all. We know what he's about, and it's those consistent 6 out of 10 players that you're going to need when you're in a hole sometimes. So I don't see any need to sell him, and Newcastle can go fuck themselves, can't they?
Brian, have you got anything that, like, apart from telling Newcastle to go fuck themselves, do you think that 30 million quid's a decent sum? Can we put it somewhere else for better use? Or
well, last year the man up top, my favourite person, wanted 40 million for Winks. So 30 million for Hojbjerg is like, I'm going to kill you. 30 million is a hell no, and exactly what Bob said. Why the hell are we talking about sending? I want to hear about players like Winks being out, Emerson going out. No, I know obviously better players will attract clubs, but Hojbjerg is definitely not a problem area. I've said from day one, I love Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg, but I've also said if you can get an upgrade on him, you upgrade. I'd like to see his upgrade coming first, not doing it again that we sell players to bring players in. We bring the players in and then move the player out. One thing you cannot compare Hojbjerg to, and apart from someone like Kane who has it ingrained in him, he is the most motivated, most passionate, most dedicated, and give his everything that we have in that team without foul. And you may be able to replace someone with his football quality. You won't find someone better with a better mentality than him, and how to be around the team and his passion for winning and everything. So in all due fairness of everyone that we're thinking of getting rid of, if I had a list of 7 players, Hojbjerg's not even on that list. 100%. So for me, listen, Newcastle are going to be mentioned with every single player. This is going to be a summer where literally anyone they want, they can go get within reason, obviously, apart from the elite. So these stories are going to surface around every single player Newcastle wants or position Newcastle wants. And at the moment, for me, it's Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. Would I sell him for 30? Not a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, it seems like it's unanimous amongst the panel then, guys. You guys are all saying absolutely no. Scott M in the chat is saying...
I didn't say absolutely no.
You said just for the right money, but that's 30 million is not enough.
Seems low.
It depends on recruitment as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. If Conte wants a Ward-Prowse, Ericsson, and I don't know, 2 other midfielders from
McKennie,
from Italy, McKennie, they come in. then
Kenny's free, isn't he? He's available on a free, right?
No, he's going to cost about 30 million.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So if we get like a couple of 2 or 3 midfielders in, we get rid of Lo Celso and Dembele, then we will need some backup on the bench. If we don't manage to move on Lo Celso and Dembele, we have to put into equation. We've still got Skippy, still got Bentancur.
Yeah.
Hojbjerg might go to Conte and say, "Look, am I getting minutes?" Because we've got
World Cup,
international football. Don't think Denmark are in it.
Oh no, they're not in it. Sorry, no, you're right.
They're
Sorry,
not
yeah,
in it.
no, sorry.
But he's going to want to play first team football. He's good enough to play first team football. But as a squad, as a team, we need to look for better quality. Hojbjerg's great. I'd love him to be in the squad. But do we need to improve on his quality? 100%. We all know that. Although some of us, i.e. Ellie, doesn't want to admit that.
Yeah, poor Ellie. What would she do? Aaron Dove is in agreement with you, Bob, saying extra subs next season as well.
Yeah.
We need a big squad. 100% is a great point, Aaron. Tyler, I think I'm interpreting this as saying he's a passion merchant in a negative way. I think that's what you're saying, Tyler, and we need to generate funds, so it's a no-brainer. Feel free to expand on that, Tyler, because I think that's what you're saying. You're saying that the passion thing is a bit of a smokescreen for...
People need to get away from the idea, and I think I've said this to you before, Sean, via comments. Do not think that if we can be in a position where we sell no one and we've still got money. We're not paupers. We've got money.
Yeah, we have.
Suffice to say, we are going to move on players. We are going to sell players. It might be lastminute.com, but like Brian says, we need to be buying in players the first couple of weeks of the summer. And that, to me, will indicate Conte and Paratici are in tandem bringing players in. Because if we see another lastminute.com, that stinks, just like January did, it just stinks of a Levy window. So we don't have to. We will generate money, but we're not in a position where we're desperate. We'll only buy players if we generate money. We're not in that position.
We're not.
This is a kind of situation where we'll see what kind of window it is, because if you're willing to accept if it is 30 and whatever for Hojbjerg, why not? That will show tenfold profit. Why not sell an Ndombele, who's got a £60 million player who's worthless, on 200 grand a week, and take a 30 million hit on him and him off the wage bill? So if you're looking at a couple of players to get rid of, if I said to you, Sean, or everyone on the panel, you could sell Hojbjerg for 30 million and make tenfold, or you can get 200 grand off a week off the wage bill, but you've got to take a 30 million hit on Ndombele. I know which one I'm selling. Straight away.
Trouble is with Ndombele, who's going to buy him? I mean,
hey, hi,
nice.
What's up, kids?
Little Bob Spurs.
I don't think they can see us.
Oh.
So they can.
Of course they can.
Now they can.
Awesome.
Oh.
Awesome. Sorry, Kuba.
Yeah, with Ndombele, who's going to buy him? Because he doesn't look like a 200 grand a week player at the moment. He's hardly set the place on fire on his loan move, has he? It's a worry that we're going to be stuck with him. If we could end up with another one of those crazy situations where we're paying half the player's wages just to move him away.
I mean, how much time has Ndombele still got on his contract? Is it like three more years?
And it's June of 2025.
So 3 more years, yeah. So you could ultimately, I guess, loan him back out again for a loan fee of like, I don't know, 8 million, 7 million quid for the year, like what we did with Kulusevski for the first year, and just try and kind of chip away at, because I think you're right, Kuba. A lot of the players that we want to get rid of, there has to be a willing buyer, right? And I don't know.
There has to be a winning price as well, Sean. That's what you've got to remember. The price has got to be set at the right amount.
The appropriate amount. Yeah.
That's the thing.
I agree. What do you think is more likely that we can get? Do you think that there's any? I mean, Will, do you think there's any interest in Lo Celso? I see the rumours again, or the news again, saying that they love him, they want to extend it, but they don't want to pay 30 million for whatever it is for the actual. They don't want to make his transfer permanent. So is this another one of like just like an extended loan, but pay the fee, whatever it might be? Again, 8 million, 9 million, 10 million, just to kind of write it down as a net on your balance sheet.
Yeah, I would think like with a situation like Lo Celso, because if we just continue to do that, then people aren't going to buy him, right? And they'll just write it out at loans until it's a free, and then they'll just take him. What I would do is I would shop him around La Liga, to some of their competitors, and kind of, put pressure on Villarreal to actually buy him rather than just, Mom always told me, if you give. No one will buy the cow if you give away the milk for free, right? So.
This is back to Brian's sleepless nights again, isn't it?
She said girls got to respect themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
And
remember, I forgive, I never forget. Revenge, boys, revenge.
Brian, you're not at the top of the list of people that are being embarrassed on today's show. I outed myself and I've been ridiculed for it. So.
Yes, but that's because you didn't. That's because you didn't look at your own video before you posted it.
100 times the fucking video. 100 times.
It was evidence. It was hard evidence. We got you, brother.
I just can't believe someone didn't tell me that I didn't shake before I made the video. It's insane.
I told you it's funny.
You just need to tell people it's just some water that you're drinking,
Yeah, it must be. It's nice cube.
Or maybe just stop jizzing in your pants, mate. That might be a good idea.
It was a big moment. Bergwijn just scored twice in 3 minutes. Come on.
Got carried away.
There you go.
Hands quickly out of the pockets and then the sweet release.
That's why the pockets are inside out, playing a little pocket.
Extra space to maneuver.
All right, so talking about other news that's come out today, Tottenham, I'm going to read this bit out. It's a bit of a paragraph, so bear with me. Tottenham Hotspur have joined the race to sign Wolverhampton Wanderers star Ruben Neves amid claims he is one of Arsenal's top targets. 90 Minutes reports that Neves has decided that he's ready to leave Wolves. He was signed in a shock move back in 2017, blah, 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 blah. Arsenal, Manchester United, Barcelona and Madrid are also thought to be in the race for the Portuguese star. What's interesting is that Sky Sports claimed earlier this month that Neves is a top target for Arsenal. But we could now see a North London fight for Neves as both Arsenal and Tottenham line up to move for his signature. This afternoon, though, Romano, what's his name? Fabrizio Romano turned around and quoted that Bruno Lage, however you say his last name, has come out today and said that he is worth £100 million. And when asked and pressed on whether or not he thinks he might lose him in the summer, he said anything's possible, anything can happen, which sounds like that the writing's on the wall for Neves' time at Wolves. Is he someone, I guess we're putting things in perspective here, 30 million quid for a Hojbjerg. I know they're not directly the same sort of player, but, if that's the valuation of a Neves, is Hojbjerg, higher up than that? And is it something that you see happening at that kind of price point? We'll start with Kuva on this one.
Well, he's a good player, no doubt about it. But with this sort of valuation being bandied about, that you've got to say that's us straight out of the market. You ain't going to get Levy talking anywhere near that sort of valuation. Otherwise, I always get the impression he's more going to be. Well, there we go. That comment alone. Neves wants to go to Barcelona. That seems to strike more.
Traore all over again, Kuva.
Sorry,
Traore all over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking like we're interested, but not really interested. Nothing happens.
The fans off his back as a little bit if he can help it. Nothing. Seems to be the trait at the moment. I'm not reading much into this at all. To be honest, I'm expecting us in the summer to have a similar to what we did in January. It's going to be perhaps underwhelming sort of signings that turn out they might be good fits after all. But I don't see any of these big marquee ones happening again. I think even Levy's been stung by it too much. He's looked at Ndombele, he looked at Lo Celso. He's not going to be signing these checks over so easily now, which suits him to the ground. So no, I'm not buying any of this stuff. Too big of values.
Do you agree, Brian?
Does someone smell 20 less than 24 hours to get your season ticket renewal money signing come in? Because I certainly do. I can smell it. This is carbon copy of what this man does. Listen, I've been saying for months, as well as other people, in that position, the number one target should be James Ward-Prowse. And not just because of his free kicks, but because of the English quota that we need to work on, because it's going to become a serious problem. We need to get some English players in. We need some homegrown. James Ward-Prowse ticks all the boxes. He will not be 100 million.
Eugene's saying 50 million.
There you go. But somehow, well, you got to remember, Southampton absolutely hate doing business with us. And I mean hate. Because this goes back to Hoddle and Pochettino manager-wise. It goes to Dean Richards. It goes to Hojbjerg. It goes to Toby. Where each time, the person I'm trying to steer away from
has
done something.
Go for it, mate. Go for it. I actually want to apologise to you a little bit. I'll tell you why in a minute, and it's something that Bob Spurs said to me yesterday, and I want to bring it up. So
okay, yeah, it's just because, like I said, this is what happens with us. We need to work on the English way, and it comes down to what Conte wants. And we've been linked with Neves, like we have with everyone, for years and years and years and years and years. These aren't Conte rumours. These are rumours that the club have been interested in for years and years and years, but never ever come true. They just pop up at convenient times. So I think there's absolutely no truth behind it. Do I think the club are releasing stuff to say, yeah, we're interested? Yeah, I do. Do I think this one? No, I don't think this one's released. This is just this hasn't been leaked by the club. This is just, let's pick up some old news. As soon as you say 100 million, we all know whether you fucking love the man or hate the man like me, we're not doing it.
No.
We're not doing it.
I agree with that. Do you guys, Will, how do you feel about it?
I don't see that type of player really.
No, cheers for that.
Man, a few words tonight, Will. You can expand, mate.
I think I'm gonna. I don't know what Will's thinking, but if it's that good, why haven't any of the other top 3 or 4 teams gone in for him?
Yeah, I mean Neves for one, he's been injured all this season.
Yeah,
literally this whole season.
Yeah.
Oh, he might be a player for us then. We might sign him just for that.
I mean, he's a great player. But I can think of other players.
He's played 28 games for Wolves in the Premier League this season. So he's
28?
28 games in the 21-22 league.
He started off injured, Will, but I think he came back and then he got injured a bit and he came back. He's injury prone, let's just say.
I mean, he's a really good player, but for how much do they ask? 100 million?
It's too much money for me. I don't think he's...
No way. No way is he worth 100 million. Maybe 50 at the most, right? But then when you're getting into that number, there's a ton of players that you could go for. So,
yeah. Well, let me actually on that basis then. Let me.
Neto's injured. Thank you, Cody. That's right.
Well, where's your apology? I'm interested about this apology that I don't think I know about or deserve.
Well, that is so. So I was having a debate on the We Are Tottenham TV WhatsApp group, right? With someone was, I think it was Rez that was going on nuclear about Daniel Levy, and I chimed in and I called it out again, and I said I think that the argument's unbalanced and it's lacking context and everything, and we went back and forth and had our usual job, all in good nature, and I'm going to bring it up because I sat there and I thought about it a lot after he said it, and so Bobby said, and I'll read it out. He said, regarding the Levy out brigade, it's funny how people with that opinion are given a title. Bedsheet holders, deluded, brigades. I'm all for getting a balanced view on Levy. I can only speak for my stream. I've continuously had people on who aren't bothered if he stays or goes. Mr. Spurs and EMF for 2. I have no issues with people who are not Levy out at all, yet it's some of those who create the divide. Not Ian, I like him. I want Enoch out or for them to change their ways. I have my reasons. I stand by that stance. It doesn't consume me. I can compartmentalize between my love of wanting my team to do well and my dislike of the owners. However, at times it's difficult to relay that without someone telling me I'm wrong. Fuck that. I feel how I do. I believe what I want, and no one can tell me otherwise. I would never tell anyone their feelings aren't valid. And I sat there and I read it, and I wasn't sure whether Bob was aiming that at me directly.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally don't think I've ever told anybody how to feel. I've never said, because I'm not even a Levy in. I'm like someone I'm just basically. I feel like my argument sometimes gets gets taken the wrong way by the way I deliver it. Right? Like, I'm not someone I don't give a fuck about Daniel Levy. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. But what I would like to do as a content, contributor to the community is to make sure that, given the fact that we talk and sit in front of thousands of people, over weeks or months, and our opinions shape theirs and their opinions shape ours, etc., then I would like to think that it's important to have context and balance. And so that's all I'm ever doing, right? When someone says it's this, I'm like, well, have you thought about that? That's what I'm trying to do. But I feel like I sat there and after reading back on Bobby, from what Bobby said, I was like, shit, I don't know if he's referring to me on that, but he might well be, because he was saying it directly after me and Rez were going at it with one another. And I'll be honest, I was going, fuck, is that the way I'm coming across? I don't want to be. So if I am, Brian, because it's usually has been me and you that are... going at it. If at any point in time I've made you or Bobby or anybody else feel like their opinions are wrong or that they shouldn't feel the way they do, then I wholeheartedly apologize, and I will do my best to change the way I deliver my argument, because it's not my intention. It's just all I ever wanted was just to have a more informed conversation about Daniel Levy, rather than telling people that that they're wrong or that they're missing things that they should be remembering or whatever.
Before you go, Brian, if Brian and Will tell you, if it was aimed at you, Sean, I would have said, sure. I would have, it would have been directed at you. So it wasn't aimed at you, but there are some motherfuckers out there that do that.
There are, and Sean, I have to say, and we've spoken about this behind the scenes, in private, in personal, like face-to-face, and on streams as well. Mm-hmm. When you first came onto the scene, I thought you were the biggest, I actually thought you were a relative of him. I really did. Wait a minute. It's not only a plant in here that we've actually got. Because now, Joe, it's got to the point. I get messaged privately on DMs or on Instagram or on Facebook, and they pop up with random messages, and I'm like, wait a minute, because there's so many fake, whether you like it or not, there are fake accounts. There are people there, and I'm just like, when they start saying stuff, I'm going to be at the next protest. Where is it? I'm like, I ain't telling you shit, because who knows? But then once I get talking to them and they say a few bits, I'm going to be like, right, okay, maybe, whatever. But whenever you came on stream, you and me got very, very animated, or me, I get very, very. I have Levy Tourette's, and I go from 0 to 1,000 quicker.
I know, but there's passion. It's just passion.
Yeah, it's not. What I love you and appreciate you so much, because what you do is you look at it from the other side. I look at it from look at it from blind rage and from the fan side, and I stick up for the fans. I had someone who sent me a message about a show I did with Brian Island when we had our last show, which was more question time, and we kept saying who comes in, and then when I told him about the stuff that's annoyed me about not just the spending, but I also said what annoys me about it, how he treats fans, the lies he's the lies he's made. I said there's a lot that goes behind the scenes that I fight for that no one knows. And I went on about that, and he responded to me and goes, "Oh, you want to spend a bit bigger than Leicester? Leicester spend less than us." I'm like, it's not just that. And the worst thing about it, just to wrap this up, Sean, isn't people like you on Twitter, which I know is toxic.
Well, before you say that, on the back of what Bob Spur, I was like, maybe if he's not talking about me, I don't see the Levy in debate, because I'm not part of the Levy out debate, or the Levy out thing, so I don't get that heat. So I did. Yeah. I spent about an hour last night looking through Twitter, people that were going at you and other people in the Levy out community, and it's as toxic, if not worse. If it probably is worse to be a Levy out on the receiving end.
It is.
So
this is the thing.
I was like, fucking hell, am I defending these types? I don't know.
Well, Sean, this is the thing. What you're not seeing is like we get called toxic or delusional or even worse words. Even I'm not going to go. Yeah, but one thing I personally
delusional is not a pejorative. We have to stop using it as well.
The one thing I never do ever is reach for and attack people personally. I never ever badmouth them or call them a personal. I literally argue the point across. But the Levy in people. Are you effing this, or are you effing that, or you're a wanker, or your mum's this? I'm like, well, that just shows. I just
childish.
And the stupid thing is, this is how stupid they are. These people. Well, when I tweet something, or still tweet something, or another Levy out person tweets something, these stupid people retweet it and go, "Oh, look at this idiot." And then I just respond, "You're calling me an idiot. You've just retweeted my message for Levy out to all you Levy-inners. So thank you for doing that." That's how stupid it gets on there. Now, Sean, you are definitely and I said it to you on our show that we did on Sunday. Sorry, I just completely missed the fucking table there. Literally, I did the Del Boy through the
So
fire.
that come on the table, mate.
So no, like I said, I have a great love and admiration for you, because when you come on, I get very, very passionately about that scenario or whatever it may be, whereas you kind of counterbalance it. And all the debates I get into, you actually bring it back to a level playing field. So it's like, oh, wait a minute. You're looking at it from that. And sometimes you stop me like, I'm like, oh, God, can you just go away?
All I ever want is, like, I feel like if we as a team can acknowledge certain, like, nuance, context in any debate. It's like not to get into it, but politics, right? You take Trump as an example. The loudest voices on either extreme of any political conversation are usually the most irrational and usually the loudest and usually the ones that are saying things. Whereas there's so much space in the middle. There's so much space if we can bring things in and go, yeah, Daniel Levy fucked up here and here. But there were reasons why he didn't necessarily fuck up here. He just couldn't do anything different there because of this, and this. Then I think together we could get to a place where we can actually analyze whether he is a 5 out of 10 chairman or a 2 out of 10 chairman or an 8 out of 10 chairman,
A minus. But yeah,
or a minus out of 10, whatever it might be. But I just think if we can get to some truth about it. But either way, don't want to go on about it too much, Matt. I just wanted to say if there's anyone out there that's been offended by my takes on Levy, then I not my intention. So just wanted to.
And I will say,
I've been offended.
Like we've spoken before, Sean. If I feel you said something and taken it too far, believe me, you will know about it. Just like Bob. That's the thing, you will know about it immediately.
I don't think you should apologise, though, Sean. I think it's your stance. You like playing devil's advocate. By apologising, you're kind of taking away from the argument not the argument or the point you put across. I wouldn't.
I stand by everything I've said. I just think I could say it in a better way.
Anything you said, mate. No. But I think the community needs a bit of devil. Will tell you right from day off. I love playing devil's advocate on my channel, and I don't believe in half the stuff I say. When I want to put the argument out there, no, of course not. But
that's right. Bob says all the time that he doesn't think porn is a good thing.
No, of course.
Well, all right. I just wanted to spend 5 minutes getting that, or 10 minutes getting that out of the way. But I still stand by everything I've said. I just think I could do better in the way I say it, and I'll try and do better.
Just screw him. That's what I say.
Or I'll just double down and become a complete cunt. All right.
To your guns.
So we're moving on from the Ruben Neves transfer, and
which I didn't say anything about.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry, did you not get a chance to? Sorry, buddy. Sorry, Bob. What's your take on Ruben Neves? Sorry, mate.
So was this all the same question, or?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, load of bullshit. I don't believe. I'm very much still there holding the shirt. We were linked to 7,824 players in the summer. We didn't even have a fucking manager. So, I don't believe anything till they're through the door at Tottenham Hotspur way holding the shirt. So, I'm going to ignore, and I know it's probably shortening my streams or shortening my chance of getting onto streams, but if there's any chat of transfers or linked players, I'm just going to say bullshit.
Okay. Well, on the basis of that, Bob might not want to participate in the next 2 topics, but there's two more questions I have for you all before we move on to the Leicester game.
Just remember, positive Bob and his transfer.
Yeah, but I just don't think there's any way though that he goes for 100 million. Like I'm looking at his contract's up next year. He's playing at Wolves. He's not scoring. Like he's scoring, but he's not scoring like a crap ton of goals.
Will, this is for you, mate.
That's for you, mate. I think. That was so funny. Will, when I was on that stream on Brian's channel,
so hard to have an IQ over 120 sometimes.
I was sitting there going when Alex, I love Alex to pieces. When Alex is going, look, it's just my objective opinion. It's just my objective opinion. I was like, I can't wait because I think Will's in the comments. I cannot. It's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, and then Will puts in a super chat, so make sure it gets read out.
He put quite a few super chats. Thank you for that. Well, I was focusing,
I always do.
But yeah,
it's my narcissism. I have to be heard.
Alex is he's a lively character on stream, but I will say, and 3 of us on this panel have been lucky enough to meet him face to face, and he is one of the nicest guys.
Sweetheart.
I love Alex.
Absolutely. Do you know what? We speak quite a bit on the phone as well, but whenever you're there, like, you see him and you see that smile and you have a hug with him, he is one of the most down-to-earth, loveliest guys you could ever wish to meet. He's such a diamond.
Yeah.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, it's my opinion.
I still don't even know. I don't know what world I woke up in, to where words do no longer have meanings, right? Where opposites.
I think he just didn't know the difference. I think he thought one meant the other.
He doubled down, man. He doubled down.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he doubled down. When I said it, he was like, "No, it's an objective opinion."
That's so good. I love him.
He gave in.
Fair enough.
It's like, "Come on, Will. I'll take you down. I'll take you to school. It's an objective opinion."
Oh, he's lovely. Shout out to Alex if you're listening, mate. I love you,
Alex.
I love you too.
That's
But
smart,
please look in a dictionary.
All right, so two last parts of the news that's out there that I just wanted to get your opinions on. One of them is more about youth players. QPR. This was bounded around about 4 or 5 of the syndicated news outlets today, so I'm guessing it's just one source that's getting. Oh, it's Football Insider is who started it. QPR is in talks to sign multiple Tottenham youngsters ahead of the summer. The Championship club has a strong relationship with the Premier League giants and is looking to negotiate loan moves for next season. A Spurs source has told Football Insider that discussions are being led by QPR under-23s head coach Paul Hall. He is targeting rising stars with the potential to make an impact in the Championship, and among these, he is believed to be considering moves for Troy Parrott, Keon Ateti, and Harvey White.
Oh, phew.
Now, Harvey White's a guy that's been on the bench a lot this season. He hasn't got a chance. Troy Parrott's obviously already on loan at MK Dons, doing well. He needs to step up to the Championship. Are you guys happy with those names? Are there any other names you wouldn't mind seeing go out on loan that are currently like you just on the bench, not doing much?
All of them.
I know. Yeah, we'll start with you, Will. Go on, mate. So, are you happy with these 3 going out, or where do you want to? Who else would you like to see go?
Yeah, I'm gonna get myself in trouble here, but that's okay. I'm used to it. I think our academy, while the facilities are great, got great pitches and balls and cones and stuff like that, is
great balls and cones. We're going up in the world.
Great balls and
particularly conish, and the balls are very round, and it's fantastic.
Balls around, like that Nike balls, it's really good, and the academy gets to play with the match balls. The expensive ones, the 160-pound ones. That's great.
Is that how much they are for a ball in the Premier League?
Yeah, man, those are $160. $160.
Oh, you've actually got one, have you? Wow. Okay.
I've got.
You talking dollars, Will, or are you talking pounds?
I don't know what they cost in the UK, but in the United States, they're $165 US for the match ball. But we don't produce anyone, dude. It's like one person a generation. King, Kane, maybe Skip in the future.
Tanganga.
Well, he's like what? Maybe a Premier League starter. Maybe a squad player. We don't even know, dude. Like, I don't think he's a starter. Like, I don't see him, at least not for the next 5-6 years. He's still young though.
He could probably start for Fulham next season though, or he could probably start for a Burnley or someone. Couldn't he? He's not a Tottenham starter, but maybe.
But why? It's just so poor, dude. Like, and this is gonna really piss people off, but they can go check. MLS clubs like FC Dallas and New York Red Bulls, they've produced at least 3 or 4 Champions League playing team starters, or at least squad players, over the last 5 years. How many have we produced? Our academy.
Yeah, one every 2 years, probably, isn't it? That pops up. Yeah.
We don't have anybody playing the Champions League that's come out of our academy right now. I mean, not even Harry Kane's playing the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
He's a world-class player, but Foyth didn't come out of the academy.
No, Foyth, we signed Foyth at 20, didn't we? Or something?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of shambolic. Like, all the players that we've let off, it's like we're producing championship, on the regular, we're producing championship level players, and we're a Premier League, supposedly a top 6 Premier League club. I mean, look at the other people that we're in. Arsenal
are bringing
Liverpool,
them through.
City,
Liverpool bringing
Chelsea.
them through.
Chelsea has hundreds of them, but
Chelsea just poach, don't they? Chelsea just go.
yeah, but still, why aren't we going in for 14 and 16-year-olds? That's what I'm saying. It takes the foresight to know that this player is going to be big if you're going into getting them, at that age. I just don't know what our academy's doing.
Okay.
Like, even before Ledley King, who came out of the academy before that?
Stephen Carr.
How long ago was that?
He was
97, 96, 97, something like that. 94? No, probably actually before that, probably, because he was...
Yeah, when he came out of the academy, what was that?
93.
Then you're looking at people like Nick Barmby.
Yeah.
Barmby.
Yeah, but we get gems like Stuart Nethercott and
Darren Caskey.
I got to admit, I know what Will's saying. In comparison to our infrastructure, we should be getting a load more. But I think times have changed. If you look at the likes of United, Arsenal now, certainly, but who they got apart from Saka?
Yes, EMR, Emile Smith Rowe.
Yeah, okay, that's 2. But
we've also got Nketiah, and
he was signed though, wasn't he?
Was he?
And then brought back, and then took out, and then brought back. But
and they got that one kid too that his name starts with a B. Plays striker. He's like 18. He's supposed to be pretty good. He's half US.
But something, whatever. But again, he's been saying that.
But
I don't think, in comparison to the likes of other clubs, I don't think we're that bad. Big up, Dietrich. But yeah, the fact that the likes of QPR, MK Dons are coming in to get our
Martinelli.
players. Martinelli. Yeah. I just think we need to do better now. Yeah, they need championship.
Yeah, but when you're getting outdone by MLS clubs, Bob.
Yeah, agree. Agree. But there's a bit more scope for MLS players to go abroad and get.
Well, why can't our players go to abroad? Chelsea players go to abroad.
Do you think there's any truth to the idea? Someone posited this to me a while back that if you're Liverpool, you can cherry pick all of the good players from all of the little teams that are around the northwest of England, because they're the biggest name in that area, and parents of 14-year-olds are not going to be wanting to uproot their family and move down to London, and are not going to want their 14-year-old or whatever out of their sight that far away, 300 miles away. Whereas in London, Tottenham are one of, but certainly not the biggest, draw for London kids to go to, whereas Chelsea would be, because Chelsea could point to the success of 10 players that have come before in the last year or last 2 years that have been developed and gone on and created careers for themselves. So it's more difficult for Tottenham to convince 14-year-olds, the parents of 14, 13, 12, 15-year-olds, whatever, from the likes of Leyton Orient or from the likes of the smaller clubs around the southeast to actually move to Tottenham, when Chelsea have got they probably pay the parents some sort of kickback. They also have a track record of developing and delivering on their careers, and so it's more difficult for Tottenham or teams like Tottenham to be able to get those semi-ripe fruit than it is for Liverpool, because Liverpool have got that whole area to themselves almost. Maybe you could argue Manchester United that could have the same thing, or Manchester City. But as far as London goes, there's bigger names, bigger draws for these talented.
You got a lot more people too, right? I mean, the population of London is what compared to Liverpool?
London's 10 million. Liverpool or the Northwest is probably like 5 million, 4 million across the Northwest.
And the entire Northwest, and then you got all the Manchester clubs.
Yeah. In fact, London's probably more than 10 million now. It's probably like 13 million or something. What are your thoughts, Kuva?
Well, I'm always drawn back to 2 people that have come on as guests on, well, not guests, but been in comments on shows I've been on. One of them says he takes his lad around to the different academies around the country. And he said, our academy is absolutely woeful. And that's even compared to the likes of Everton. That spoke volumes. It shows me that the mismanagement we've been talking about and setting the infrastructure of the club up from Levy getting the right people in. It's all the way down to the bottom. It's there's something going wrong with our youth system. As Will's pointing out, how often do we get people coming out? How often do we get a proper player coming out of our academy? Other teams seem to pump them out, no problem at all.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about ones getting into our starting 11. I'm going anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, we sold like one youngster in the summer or whatever. What was his name? I can't remember his name.
Sirkin.
Yeah,
Sunderland.
but it's going down to League One. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's it's been like it for years, though, hasn't it? We're looking at the likes of Tanganga, and I don't think's going to make it. I just don't think he's technically good enough for the team. But we're looking at him, hoping that he's going to, develop into a great player. And it's always the same. Dane Scarlett, next big thing, on the bench. He never comes on, really, does he? It's just
no.
It's like
he needs to go out on loan for sure. He needs to go out on loan.
Do we think he's going to come back as a player that's going to go into the team? Because I'm not sure.
Well, he needs to go out to a League One team first, right, and then to a Championship team.
It's an absolute waste of his career being sat on the bench all the time.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
He's only 17. Is he turned 18? I'm not even sure if he's turned 18 yet. Oh, he's just turned 18 because you couldn't loan him out until he's 18, right?
Correct.
So,
and the other thing is then I'll look at Dane Scarlett. What the reports are, he favours being that sort of attacker that plays off the shoulder of the last defender. He's not the sort of Kane replacement. A totally different sort of player. Why are we bringing through players that don't fit the first team system and then sitting them on the bench? It kind of doesn't make sense to me unless we got a way to integrate them properly. I mean, I suppose the way with the likes of Dane Scarlett is playing with Kane. But how often are we going to have that kind of chance? There's something wrong. Things don't fit together properly, and our youth systems definitely seems to be part of that problem. It's like it's not geared towards what we really need it to be. It feels more to me like a conveyor belt for Levy, hoping a bit of talent gets sold on for a bit of profit out of it.
Maybe. I mean, even the argument that that people make about Liverpool is that it's easy for Liverpool to bleed their talent because they're doing so well, and they've got 10 players on the pitch. 11 players on the pitch that are all doing super, like they're all flying. So it's easy to give 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there to one here, one over there, whatever, as and when you need to. And it's an easy thing to do when you're winning. But what Burnley do it, right? Norwich have done it. So
Wolves do it.
There's teams that are doing it that are struggling to stay up, let alone that are comfortably winning things every season. So I don't think that's necessarily a reasonable argument.
We should go down the route, and I know one of Brian's favourite youngsters is Alfie Devine. He really thinks a bit highly of him. But we've got to remember, we bought him from Liverpool.
No, we didn't. We bought him from Wigan.
Wigan, that's it. But he started off at Liverpool, then he went to Wigan, then he... So
that's a weird one, because usually Wigan is one of the teams where Liverpool would go and poach from. Yeah, so it's like almost like a reverse of...
But that's what we need to do. If we haven't got youngsters in our academy, let's get youngsters from other teams, lower teams who are getting first team exposure, and bring them into our academy.
And pay the tribunal fee or whatever it is that you have to pay, right? Yeah.
But again, it comes down to recruitment, scouting, etc., etc. So,
I just think it's the attitude. I think you get people like Daniel Levy who's like, they should be honored to play for Tottenham.
Yeah. It's not the case, man. Not nowadays, anyway.
Well, they don't get a chance though. If you're the parent of a 15-year-old, and Tottenham come knocking, and they go, well, no, it's one thing to give the youth a go, and then them not work out, but like we just don't. I think give them a chance.
I think if you bought in like an Alfie Devine, he will think more than the academy players. He's got more of a chance because he has been
poached. Yeah,
his money has been exchanged for him, and I believe out of everyone, even Scarlett, who I believe it will be a good player, but out of everyone, like Brian keeps on saying, Alfie Devine will be the one who's going to make it through first format. The guy's too young at the moment, just like Scarlett. And I know what you're saying. But I don't want to see any youngsters being put into a pressurised situation. It could destroy them.
Yeah, true.
They are kids.
I think we just talk. I think we're going too easy on this. Like somebody like Harvey White, he's 20 years old. He's a year younger than Kulusevski. He's like he's older than Phil Foden is. Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't be playing. If he's good enough, why he shouldn't be playing for our first team? Like
100%.
playing.
We had that. So one of the questions. I know, Brian. I know you're desperate to come in. I'm going to come to you in 2 seconds. I know. But just on this particular point. So when we get in a minute, when we move on to this thing, I've got a whole bunch of different scenarios of different squads, different tactics we can play, and I haven't included it, but I should have done. We're struggling with Emerson, right? We had this kid Levy on the bench. He's 21 years old, same age as Kulusevski. You know, if you're good enough, you're old enough. If you're old enough, you should be good enough. And to Will's point, I totally agree with you, Will, that it's not like they're 17. Dane Scarlett maybe, but the rest of them are getting to the point now where their careers need to be kicking on a little bit. And they're not for whatever reason. Sorry, Brian. Go for it, mate.
No, okay, so I'm going to start with that Emerson thing to begin with, because that'll start me on my tangent. The whole Levy thing. Levy is going to be a star. Is going to be a star. So is the other guy, Pat. I can never say his name right. Pat
Scotsy.
Thank you. Right. Reason they're not coming in, whether you believe it or not, the whole Mourinho saga that he left was he wanted to go for the Carabao Cup, and he wanted to rest players against Southampton. But the board, not just Levy, the board said, no, top four still a possibility. You go top four, you don't drop anyone. So now we can see that the right back is a clear option or clear area that needs. You can see someone up top saying, no, do not play young players. Do not play players that haven't got experience, because top four. So you've got to factor that in. Next season, maybe, especially with Lavinia. Lavinia is mustard. The problem we have with our loan system, and the prime example, so the two examples I can give that are good, A, obviously Ollie Skip, and I'm talking recent times, and B was when, and they're both Jose Mourinho actually, was Ollie Skip and Sessegnon to Hoffenheim when he said you're going out on loan, but he said to Hoffenheim, you're playing in this position. You are only playing in this position, and that's the team we're going to... You look at someone like Niles John, who has got a very, very big future, or could possibly, has gone on loan to Charlton, and has played 0 games. 0 minutes. These players that we need to send out on loan or sending out on loan, Chelsea say to them, you need to play them, and you need to play them here, and you need to do this. You don't just say, when it's a youth prospect, it's not like sending them Dembele on loan to get money off the wage bill, whatever. This is nothing. This is for them to go get experience and to develop into the player that Tottenham Hotspur want them to be. That's the whole loan system, not just for Tottenham Hotspur, but for everyone. To send your youth products or your ones for the future out to a club to gain regular first team minutes in the position so they develop. We just send players out and go on, just take them. Why is Niles John possibly learning at Charlton and not playing that he couldn't be doing at Tottenham? And you know what? And I am strongly with Will when he talks about the MLS. Very, very strongly with Will. But Tottenham Hotspur, just because we have these excess of players, Alfie Devine still can't go on loan because he's still under 18, so he won't be going out on loan. Harvey White has been flirting around the bench, and I'm telling you now, people are going, like Aaron said about, it's 5 substitutes next week, so you need a bigger squad or more squad depth.
Yeah,
this is going to be let's throw the youth in. This is a chance to give the youth their chance from a certain person, not from the club. So this loan thing, Dane Scarlett, for me, playing alongside Kane would be one of the best partnerships you could find, like a Crouch Defoe kind of thing, because it enables Harry Kane to drop deep again, and he's there. Dane Scarlett, whenever he's come on, and I've likened him, and Bob has been with me on many a time when I've said it, he is going to be better than Michael Owen. That's how highly I rate this dude. But Liverpool threw Michael Owen in the deep end, but when they did, they threw him in with all the elite players that played for Liverpool. It wasn't like, here's a European Conference League, you go up front and do what you do with 2. He needs to be playing up top with a Kane and a Son, or with one of them, and with the first team. Not, this is a Europa Conference League, just go out and get some minutes with all the other youngsters. That's not how it works.
Would you do that now, though, or would you actually give him a year in competitive football first and then do that same thing the season after next?
Well, it depends. If Dave Scarlett went out, I'd want it to either go, or it would have to be a Championship or League One team, because I don't think he's ready fully for the Premiership, like to be right, off you go. But I would send him out on loan to a Championship team. Listen, we know he's not. As long as Kane's there, he's not going to play alongside Kane. Let's just be real. As much as I'd like to see him play alongside, and we know we need a very, very good piece of competition for him up there. Unfortunately,
would you rather put him into think about the quality? Would you rather put him, because he's not going to go to a championship team that's going to be promoted. He's not going to go to a Norwich, but he might go, like, you could get him into a championship level team that's at the risk of getting relegated, or would you rather give him to a promotion aspiring team in League One, so he's got the chance to score a bag full of goals?
You know what? Either, and you know, I would love if that QPR link that you said, I would be a million times more happier if it was Norwich, because Norwich play quality football. Whenever they do loan people, right? Billy Gilmore's not a good example, but whenever we've had them, they have played them. And it depends what way you look at it. What model of football are we playing? Do you want him to go to a ultra attacking, high press team and play all the time? It's like, well, no, because that's not what we do. Or if you come in under Conte, it's all got to align. Like we said before,
are there teams that play 3-4-3s and wing systems in the championship and stuff? I don't know. I don't know if there are.
There's teams in there that play counter-attacking football.
Okay, well that's good for me.
May not play 3-4-3, but may do counter-attacking. So everything's got to align. At the moment, there's in the squad, and Stell will mention when he's there, the under 23s and whatever are not taught to play like the first team. Yeah. So you play, and then you come over to us, and then
it goes back to that. It goes back to that thing that you always say, Brian. You know, like with the managerial changes that we've had, right? There's zero continuity at Tottenham. Like there should be this process, because no one knows what's going to happen with Conte's future at the moment. Hopefully he's going to stay, but even if he doesn't stay, if we're going to spend 120 million quid, and this will lead me on to the last topic before we get into the Leicester thing. But if we're going to spend 120 million quid on players for next season, and we're going to give that money to Conte's Paratici side, and then Conte fucks off, then we need to make sure that the next managerial cab off the rank is someone who's going to play the same formation. There's 0 point in buying players for one formation and then get a Pochettino when he plays a different one. And you can make the same argument about the thought process behind where you're loaning players out. Why loan, a young striker to a team that's going to barely score any goals if they're going to get relegated out of the Championship? Or why loan a Pescozzi or whatever it might be to a team that plays a back four if you want him to be a wing back, right? So I think there just needs to be a little bit more fucking thought process in where you're loaning players. It's not that difficult.
Like I said, when Niles John comes back, because I think the Football League season finishes this weekend. I know the Championship does or whatever, and all the youth academy and everyone sit down and see him at lunch and go, so what did you learn at Charlton? all he'll turn around and say is, I learned that this is a fucking palace, and oh my God, you want to check down the leagues, because he's had no minutes. He's been on loan since Christmas.
Yeah, silly.
So how have Tottenham? The whole idea of the loan system is to profit from it, whether it's from experience or whether it's to put them in the shop window and make money. What has Niles John brought back from Charlton?
And a waste of time, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like I just 11 years, 21. He's the same age as Ryan Sessegnon. Why isn't he playing now if he's good enough? I just don't understand. Like McKendy, we don't have a backup striker. He's 21. Why isn't he getting seen? Right? If these players aren't good enough, why are we still paying them?
Yeah. King Hoddle and Scott M are talking in the comments, talking about the player that Pochettino used to refer to as a young Messi. And now we haven't heard of him. Marcus Edwards.
Yeah. You know what? He was and is. He has all the attributes to be absolutely unbelievable, and I do mean unbelievable. But again, with him, it was his private life and partying. And who's the Manchester United youngster that went everywhere that was meant to be the next? I can't remember.
What's his name?
Anyone in the chat will know that was meant to be the next biggest fucking thing, and he did the Rabona kind of in the air.
Ravel Morrison.
Yeah, Ravel Morrison.
Well done, Bob. He was going to be the best thing since faster than the chat. That's amazing. Hey guys, just quickly. Sorry, Brian. Finish your point.
No, I was saying he was meant to be the next best thing, and he's gone here, there, and everywhere, and he's shown the talents he's got in patches. But even Marcus Edwards, I saw him quite a lot when I lived back in England, was just sensational to watch. But went to Holland, did really well in Holland. I think it was Holland, but now has gone to Portugal and is starting to rebuild his career. This is the thing that the stars are slipping through. Mark Ande is going to be a star, and we're going to regret that big time. Big time.
Yeah, well, he's definitely going to be a lucrative.
Why isn't he playing?
He broke his leg, didn't he, the second he got to Blackburn?
Yeah, he broke his he did his hamstring, ripped his hamstring.
He had a horrible situation. Guys, let's just to move the conversation a bit forward, because we're up 15 minutes behind the schedule. At the hour mark, I've already posted it, but the conversation went past, so I didn't get a chance to say it. I'm just putting the links out for everyone's channels now. It's what I do now on this channel every hour. So Bob Spurs link is in the chat, as is Will's, as is Tottenham on tour, and I would put Kuva's in if he had one. But guys, if you haven't already, just please hit the links. And if there's any of you, there's 55 people watching on YouTube and another 15 on different socials. So if you haven't already, please hit those links and just hit the subscribe button to Will, Bob's and Brian's channel.
Can I request one then?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Shelfside Spurs.
Yeah.
Shelfside Spurs it is. Okie dokie. And Shelfside Spurs, guys.
Happy anniversary, by the way, guys, from Shelfside Spurs. A year anniversary today, isn't it?
A year today, I believe. Yeah. Congratulations to them. And we're gonna when this movie's over, we're gonna raid over there and send everybody over to Shelfside Spurs, guys. Right. So what we're gonna do right now is I was gonna ask the last question, but I might save it. No, I'll do it now. Just to get it out of the way before we get into the Leicester stuff. So we're talking about transfer news, transfer money. Bob, I know this thing might not be of interest to you, but let's say we had 120 million quid, right? This is the question that I've been asking. If we had 120 million quid net of, not including having to pay for Romero, having to pay for Kulusevski, not including any money that we can raise by selling Hojbjerg or whatever else. I'm not asking necessarily for who the names are. If you want to expand, you can give me the names if you want to. But if Conte's saying he wants 6 players, 7 players, let's round it up to 140 million quid. That's the budget. Daniel Levy's gone and found 140 million quid net of everything else, because I do believe there's that money. Like Bob Spurs says, there is that money available. He finds 140 million quid, and we need to sign 7 players: a goalkeeper, a left-sided centre back, a central centre back, a right wing back, a dozen fucking midfielders, and a striker. How would you like to see that money allocated? Where would you like to see the lion's share focused? Is it 25 million across the board? Each position gets 25 million. Is it 50 million quid here? 10 million quid there. How would you like to see it allocated? And you can, if you want to expand and say the players that you'd like to see. And Bob, I know you want to speak the least about it, so I'll let you go first.
I think defenders. A lot of things been made of attacking midfielders and creative in midfielders. But I do believe Conte likes his creativity to come from wing backs. We've got the players up front in the front three in Sonny, Decky, and Kane. Who Sonny and Kane are world class, and Decky has got the potential to be world class. He's way ahead away from that. So for me, it's more important to get real good attacking wing backs who can help the creativity up there. Because I don't think, obviously we need central midfielders, but for me, first and foremost, 2 defenders, 2 attacking good wing backs with end products, and a striker.
One on either side, or 2 on the one on both? No. You want to see both sides improved, do you?
Yeah, okay. 100%. I mean, Sessegnon, as good as he is, I don't think there's 90 minutes in him for 3 consecutive games. Reguilon, I think his head turned. The fact his girlfriend's still in Spain, I think he will end up there. Doherty, I'd keep him as a squad player because I think he's improved. He has. But we're not going to win things under the likes of a Sessegnon, a Doherty. Yeah. So I think we need to improve in that. And as good as Dyer and Davis have been, I'm the first to say they've gone above average this season. Again, we're not going to win anything with the likes of a Dyer and Davis in defence. So we need to improve that. So 2 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs for me, a priority. Get a striker in, and then we'll look at the midfielders. We've got Skip, we've got Bentancur, we've got Hojbjerg. We need more creativity in midfield, of course. But I do believe Conte likes his main creativity in attacking prowess down the wing backs.
So is that like 35, 40 million on a right wing back, and maybe 30, 40 on a left wing back, and then 30, 40 on a decent centre back, and that's 120 done, isn't it?
You do the calculations, mate.
Okay. All right. Kuva, I'll come to you next, mate. And then
going to say, drop the mic, Bob. We're out of here.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree, Bob, as well. Like, the right wing.
Absolutely. I don't even care if we get. Well, do cap. I mean, it's those wing backs. Everything is on them. Yeah. What's happened since Doherty's gone out of the team? We're trying to put all of our players trying to go through Kane now. Our wide areas are just shut down. Doherty was at least offering that extra forward momentum from the wings. It's no coincidence Kulusevski was playing his best when Doherty was there, partnering up with him. They were getting understandings going. There was more than one player going forward at that time. We've got nothing at the moment. We desperately need that. Our attacking play will just come back overnight. A couple of quality wing backs, highest priority by a mile. If there's any names,
is it Jed Spence that you want, or do you have someone more, a bit more mature and a bit more, already ripe?
I'm not even going to mention names because it's not my job. I'm not the chief scout and the head of recruitment at top. It's not having a go or anything. It's just I haven't spent long enough to think about who's a viable target. Because I mean, otherwise you start going, let's have Cancelo or something. It's like, if the money's no object and you could get anybody, you'd just go for the best in the world, wouldn't you? But if we have to go,
you'd like to see the lion's share go towards a right wing back, would you?
Difficult one. We just need both. There's just no way around it as far as I'm concerned. Sessegnon and Doherty, I'm happy for them to be squad players for next season. Yeah. I think they can come in doing a job when they need to, but replace both flanks, and they're equally as important. I just don't see anywhere around it. We're going to be struggling unless we do.
I agree, 100%.
I mean, if you're going to push me for a name, there's one I've always had my eye on for quite a while now. It's a youngster at Ajax, Divine Wrench. Right. He's highly talented lad. I think he's going to make it right.
Will stats on Wrench.
Yeah. Do you like Wrench?
Yeah, I mean,
Will?
That's one of these players that, the Ajax upbringing. He can play with either foot. He can cross with either foot, score goals with either foot. He's tall. He's quick. He can beat players. He's strong. He ticks every box on for that position, and he's bloody exciting. But he is a youngster. I think he's only 19 still. 19.
I like his predecessor, Mazraoui. I think he's class, and he was available. I think he's available on a free transfer.
Yeah, he's on a free. He's good.
Hakimi's apparently upset. How cute is this? Remember when I put my picture up? You saw my 2.5-year-old daughter, Arsha. She was on there. Even she's better than fucking Emerson. So
well, we're going to talk.
Hakimi would be brilliant if we could steal him away from PSG.
Who's that?
Yeah, Hakimi. Yeah,
Hakimi. Yeah, he's apparently not very happy.
He's not playing. He's not playing that much. He's not. Yeah.
Dumfries gets mentioned a lot. He's a quality player as well.
Oh, what am I doing? No, fuck! I'm not.
You're getting stuck into it. Suck him in. Welcome to you, mate. How would you want to see the money spent, buddy?
So for me, it revolves all right. When you talk about getting a right wing back in, yes, Doherty, when he comes back, we've been a miss. I think the most important thing is sorting out set pieces and a player that can pass in the middle. And I've said it all along. My whole budget will revolve around James Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse is an absolute must in my team. Literally, he is for me head and shoulders number one.
To play in a 3-4-3 though.
To play in any formation possible. His range of passing. You look at someone. One of the greatest passers I've ever seen. Now, it's not a big name that we've had. And honestly, I saw the tail end of Hoddle, and no one will come above him for passing or I ever pass. Gaza was close, but Gaza far outweighs Hoddle for me in many other departments, but that's my personal choice. One of the greatest passers of the ball I've seen at Tottenham Hotspur is Tom Huddleston.
Yeah, he was great. I love Huddle. Yeah, he was good.
I loved him.
He used to ping those floated,
and the shot that man had, and the shot that man had on him was a rocket. If you got in the way of that, you're getting a concussion.
Everyone moved out of the way, didn't they?
It was like literally, if you got a concussion,
out of the way.
Yeah, but for me, James Ward-Prowse will bring so much to Tottenham Hotspur. Not just the squad in depth, or the strength in depth, shall I say.
So you'd rather, if there was 120 million to spend, you'd rather spend 50 million of it on him rather than working on the wing backs?
Well, yeah, I would. But the only reason is you look at Jed Spence, and I'm just going to use Jed Spence because Jed Spence by far looks like the overall person, and I hope this ain't true, because if this is true, once again, we can move for him now. We can move for him at any time we want. Obviously, you can't sign it but no, let's just wait till loads of teams are excited. But don't worry.
Man United are going to be on a rebuild like you've never seen this summer, aren't they? You know?
Mate, but they'll just come in and go, right, you wanted him, Tottenham want him, here you go, there you go, have him done. Because that's what Man U do, big club mentality. We'll go for, we should rename the stadium the Almost Signed Someone Stadium, because that's what it is. So I'm using DJ Spence as a right back. You look at Sam Johnston, who I don't see as the official number one, but obviously he's a hell of a lot better than Galini and free. DJ Spence will be cheaper than other people. English, De Vrij.
Yeah. There's a lot of noise about him, and he's going to be costing about 35 million.
Yeah, you know what? As we are Tottenham TV, so just yesterday, the price on him changes every single day.
Yeah, I heard you can get him for 15 million. I heard you.
Yeah, yesterday they were quoted as 40 million.
Yeah.
But today it's like you can get him for 15. So, so for me, James Ward-Prowse, DJ Spence, Sam Johnston, a left centre back. Now, a left centre back is going to cost money. That's another one.
Guardiola, whatever, would cost like 50 million, 40 million.
Bastioni is going to cost around 40. So
no chance getting him.
Exactly. So, like I said, for me, the whole transfer activity for me revolves around doing everything you can to get James Ward-Prowse. In all honesty, I've said it all along.
It's an interesting take, because for me, it's like I don't know where he fits into a 4-3-3. But I love the guy. I love him.
The reason I don't think he's played 3-5-2 a lot, Sean, apart from the Liverpool game,
we haven't got the midfielders,
because he didn't have the personnel to do it.
Yeah, I get that.
If he has the personnel to do it, then he can be a little bit more.
Well, then there's no space for Kulusevski in the 3-5-2 if you have James Ward-Prowse.
But then the great thing it does, you look at, and I'll use Liverpool as the example because they're the prime one. You look at their 5 forwards; they play 3 up top. 2 of them know they're not playing. But what does it do? It keeps them on their goddamn toes.
Yeah.
They know if you have a bad game, or even if they don't have a bad game.
We haven't got that meritocracy, Brian. We haven't got a meritocracy in Tottenham. Harry Kane does not get dropped, no matter how bad or how injured he is. Sonny doesn't get dropped, you know.
But we're talking about the 3 at the moment in midfield. So that Liverpool is just using as the example for the plethora of players they've got to their advantage. If you have a James Ward-Prowse, an Ollie Skip, a Bentancur, and a Hojbjerg, if he's still there, all competing for 3 places or 2 places, they will be working their bollocks off.
Yeah. I'll take that.
And that's what we need. Not Kane, you're there, so we don't need you. No one can compete with you, so you suck. That's the whole problem we've got. That these players get too what's it called? They know they know they can turn up and play. They know.
Yep.
So it's like what Aurier was doing for a certain amount of time. It was like, why do I need to train a right wing back? I know I'm going to play.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. A lack of meritocracy equals laziness and expectation, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you. It'd be an interesting one. Will, haven't heard your take yet, mate. Well, if you had 150 million, I mean, Andy Midge is saying he thinks we'll have 300 million quid to spend, or between 200 and 300, 150 from new money, and then 100 to 150 from player sales. I don't know where we're going to raise 150 million from player sales from Andy Midge unless we sell monsters. Because
he's also got a later comment saying Bastoni's available for 36 million.
Yeah, wow.
If that's the case. That's the case. I'm going to be pulling my pockets inside out.
Nice.
Yeah,
recycling.
For me, it's got to be the right wing back. And look, I don't understand why we're associating ourselves with League 2, League 1 championship players.
Oh, Jed Spence. Yeah, I agree with that, actually. I think we should be aiming higher.
It's silly, right? We're not Burnley. We're supposed to be Tottenham Hotspur, right? So why aren't we going in for people like Molina or even Premier League right backs? Like Lamptey or Justin or
Cucurella at left back, I'd take in a heartbeat, or left wing back. I think Cucurella's a class player.
Sure, do you know what? I mean, I'm going to go back in the time now. I don't know why people all of a sudden think, Sean, and you're entitled to your opinion, why a fullback has to be tall. I remember great fullback, Stephen Carr, Paul Parker, going back in the day at Manchester United.
I'm not saying they have to be tall. I'm not saying they have to be tall. I'm just saying if you look right now, Emerson Royale is 6'1". He was Brentford had like 19 corners against us with one of the best set piece takers in the Premier League taking those corners, and he cleared with his head about this. Emerson Royale gets a fucking hard time, and I'm one of the proponents of it. But I think he was responsible for like 9 of those 17 headers clear. So there is a responsibility on wing backs to be able to have a decent aerial ability, and
but that's also what Jose Mourinho does. He buys fucking big, bulky, powerful people to play in those positions. And when you look at Conte's style and wanting creativity and wanting speed and everything down the flanks, you don't always associate that with a like a Kulusevski. We look at Kulusevski and say he can play right back, or he has the option to go there, but he doesn't have the speed. He's got the height and everything, but he doesn't have the speed. He may have the power, but I think we need to look like when we had Carl Walker. And Carl Walker's not 6 foot whatever. He was just power and pace, not like height wise. So I think when we say that, I know what you're saying, and I can understand that under a Mourinho tactic, although he played Reguilon at left back, so that throws that one out the window. I just think right now, I think the main attribute of what we're looking for in wing backs, height shouldn't be at the top of the
it's goals and assists.
Agenda.
I mean, that's what we should be looking at, and that's what I'm like.
We took over that one. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Go back to your take on it. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I mean, with like Molina, he's 24, 6 goals, 4 assists, plays Serie A, plays for Calco. It's not a big team, right?
How much would he? I don't even know who he is. How much would he cost?
£9 million.
Wow. Okay.
He's the starting right back for the Argentinian national team.
Interesting. He'd like to play alongside Emerson, alongside Romero. Then I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, him and Romero would be like bread and butter over there.
Have we been linked with him? Is there, or are you plucking that one out?
Of course, we have.
Exactly.
I don't think we have. I haven't heard it.
He goes to sperm banks right now to mark people for the future. So we've definitely been
sperm banks and Brian Daigle's bedroom.
And Sam Johnstone.
Then apparently, according to Bob, height will definitely be a problem.
Sorry, Will.
And Sam Johnstone, if he's coming in on a free and we're paying him in Twiglets, I don't mind him coming in.
I like him.
But he's literally the most errors leading to goals conceded in the championship, right? Out of all defenders. That's including goalkeepers and defenders, so not just goalkeepers. So for me, if we're paying anything for him, no, right? There's far better. Look, this is the thing that really frustrates me about this too, is Jose Sa is leading the league in goalkeeper stats. The best goalkeeper in the Premier League this season, Jose Sa. And Wolves picked him up for £10 million in the summer.
Yeah.
It's our recruitment is so frustrating for me.
Yeah, it is.
There are so many players out there that don't cost a fortune that are absolute quality.
Who was that player at Everton who signed for $1.5 million? Damari Gray. Yeah.
Do you know what I said?
$1.5 million.
Bob Spur will remember. I was actually on a show on the Irish Hotspurs with Jack. We were doing like a Kaniki Answer Me, and I mentioned I wanted Damari Gray when he was at Birmingham. Before he went to Everton. Before he went to
went to Germany, didn't he?
No, he went from Birmingham to another team at Leicester.
Yeah.
Then when he was going from Leicester, I wanted him before he went to Germany. And then at 1.5 million, you look at that deal. It will superiorly happen. The guy at the top would go and get his cock out for a fee at that price. And there's absolutely no downsides to that deal. He either flops and you'll still make more than 1.5 million.
I'll back him 1 second.
Or he excels and he offers the pace and speed and everything. I thought that was one hell of a deal that we missed out on. But yet, we can't take advantage of that. We can't.
I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Trippier, Burn.
I would take.
All of Newcastle's.
I would take And this is the problem too, is we're only looking. It seems like our focus is so narrow, and it's gotten a little bit better. Like going out and getting Bentancur and Kulusevski, those were good players, and I was excited about getting them before we signed them. We need to be going outside of our little window, which is over the last seasons. The only foreign players we had signed up until probably this year was like Ligue A and La Liga players. Which is the worst possible match for us at all. We should be looking in the Bundesliga. We should even be looking in the Austrian Bundesliga. We should be looking in Serie A. Those are the leagues that we should be looking at. Not Portugal, not France, not Spain. Those players don't really fit, other than the ones that Wolves pick up, because they're grabbing everybody from Portugal. They don't really fit, man, especially Liga, dude. When was the last time we signed a Liga player that was actual quality?
Hugo Lloris.
What have you been
10
doing?
years ago. Over a decade ago.
No, I know, but yeah, it's just it's
and
the
he's in a
treatise.
position, but like as an outfield player.
Yeah, we don't, and most like Ligue 1 players don't usually translate, do they?
Benjamin Stambouli was the pinnacle of that.
I always thought of Stambouli as having. I always remember having like a in my mind like a baguette and one of those like French caps on with like a painting thing and just sit there and like
that's not racist at all.
No, that's what the name.
France isn't a race, so he's good.
Sean, you know what I nicknamed him? Did you hear the nickname I had for Benjamin Stambouli? I used to call him FIFA, because if you ever watched him live, after he'd run about 2 yards, it was like you'd push triangle for too long and run out of energy. And he was like, literally, he was, oh my God, he was shocking. Shocking.
All right, so
one midfielder, a right back, a left back, left-sided defender. That's really the only thing that I think we need. Like glaring has to be the right wing back position, has to be filled. Number 2 has to be other than that, for the starting 11, those are the only ones that must get taken care of as the right wing back. Left wing back, maybe a backup.
I feel like left wing back has suddenly become left wing back, but wasn't on the radar like a few weeks ago. But now everyone is starting to go, they're just not good. That they might be as good or as bad as each other, but they're just not good enough consistently enough.
Nah, Reguilon's way better than Sessegnon in my opinion. But
you think?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think they're both unreliable.
Potentially, I think Reguilon's got a lot more to his game than what possibly Sessegnon has, but I don't think he's been playing well of late, and I do think his heart's back at Spain
Madrid
already.
He won't get back into Madrid. Madrid are going through the biggest of all.
Spain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Reguilon that first joined us, 100% play in. Yeah. But the Reguilon we've seen since then.
No.
Well, that's the thing again, and the problem that we find ourselves in. Mourinho bought him as a left back. Yeah. And we're playing him at left wing back. Like Emerson, we bought him a right back. And this is the issue you have with, like we said, Sean, chopping and changing managers.
Yeah. It's
got to stop.
I'm sorry, but in 2022, there's not a difference, right? Fullback, wingback shouldn't matter, right? You're telling me Trent Alexander or Reece James couldn't play right wingback for us? They absolutely could, right? It shouldn't matter anymore whether it's fullback, left back. I mean, look, Reguilon, I don't know what he's necessarily done bad. Has he been great? He's missed a couple of chances, sure, but I mean, he's sitting like what, mid-tier of the top 6 left backs in the league. So. Okay, so he's not putting up Robertson numbers, but who is? Robertson's world class, right? Where no one's saying Reguilon's world class, but it's way better than 0 goals and 0 assists, right? Or 0 goals and 1 assist. 2 goals and 3 assists is a lot better. I mean, Doherty at 2 goals and 6 assists. I mean, that's huge outputs for a right back in the league, to be honest with you.
I agree with Will with regards to right backs and right wing backs. I think lots made. I mean, from what I can remember.
It's an interesting take.
Please tell me if I'm wrong, but a right back should be able to defend. Emerson can't defend, man. Every time I see him,
defend from corners.
Twisted. And if he doesn't,
I think he's arguably our best. Yeah.
No, yeah. I unfortunately, we have to back him right now. He's wearing our shirt. He plays for my club, We have to back him. We hope he becomes the best right back in the world.
Anywhere.
But
Emerson gets some high stats on things like tackles won and things like that. But it doesn't show the stat how many times he lost the ball in the first place to have to recover it with that stat. It's just shocking.
But Stu, what you have there too is like people just look at tackles, but they don't look at the actual context of the tackles. There's tackles in dribbling, tackles in the final third, first third, middle third. All these there's context there that people just skate over and go to all tackles. Be willing to bet if you dug into Emerson's stats that they're probably not even that good. Yeah, he might get a lot of tackles, but it's not for good reasons. But look, I'm sorry, dude. Like I'm a 41-year-old beer-bellied, overweight guy, and
at least don't piss your pants on a live stream.
and I could make that that switch to Sanchez with no pressure.
Okay.
And he's a 21-year-old professional athlete, 23-year-old professional athlete. I mean, that was embarrassing.
Guy, though, isn't he?
Sanchez points to the guy where he wants him to play the ball, and he just
How's it go?
played the ball.
It was actually a carbon copy of the first noise you made. Very good.
But that sound gave you the visual representation of exactly what that pass was.
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys.
Addressing Brian's point up quickly about Mourinho's tactics. Reguilon still fitted his tactics because Mourinho actually played with a lopsided sort of style. He wanted one fullback and one attacking wing back. So he still should have been able to do it, and he just fell off the map, didn't he?
Well, do you know, Cooper, on top of that, someone said to me when we signed Conte, and I was on whilst I was still back home, and they said, who do you think is going to be the biggest beneficiary of Conte? And I actually said Reguilon. I thought, right, here we go. This is a man that's going to grab him and get them. Like now we're going to see because if you remember Alistair Gold when he did the interview when we signed him and Bell, he kept saying Spurs weren't going for a left back. They only had one left back in mind. And if he became available, they were going to get him, and it was Sergio Reguilon. And he came and he started on like a train. He was absolutely incredible. We're like, oh my God, we have a player. But since that Christmas, where he got caught with Lamela and Lo Celso not socially distancing, I mean, the last few weeks or the last few weeks of last season, he was nothing short of woeful. The only thing he did of any remembrance was that outstanding own goal against Aston Villa, a lovely buddy ollie into the top corner. But this season again, all right, he scored against Leeds, but I can't say anything else that I can actually remember that he did of any substance.
Got 2 goals and 3 assists in the league, bro.
Apart from imitating everyone's goal celebrations when someone scores.
He's got 2 goals and 3 assists in the league, though.
That is true. That is true, Mark. That is true.
Apparently that's true.
We did it on my street.
That was a long time ago. Mark's been watching the show for a long time. It was like a year ago.
That was
really? All you gotta do is stop the cam, hit the mute button, and just disappear for 5.
I'm running out of cups, so I'll have to do a bottle here.
Pants cam. I love it.
Trouble is, you've got to select your drinks properly, so you get one of those really wide neck bottles. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
I've got the video, Sean. I'll get it sent over. All you see is everyone talking, and I'll zoom in on Will, and he's like, and he gets a bottle, and then it disappears, and he gives a little twitch, and then he comes back.
That's amazing. Will, that's illegal in 17 states in America, isn't it?
I think what it was doing, I was mixing a drink. So I'll do that a lot. Like I'll mix a drink like this.
Yeah.
And then because I don't want to
at least
mix it on camera.
Wiggle at the end there. I mean, if you put it on opposite sides of a quiz night, you can have dots versus no dots.
Dots very, and I'm actually not wearing pants today. I'm wearing shorts. So it's hot. It's hot here in Atlanta now. So,
all right, guys, we're 45 minutes past the time when I thought we were going to be talking about the Leicester game. I hope you guys haven't got any hard finishes in 15 minutes because we are obviously going to run over unless there's an issue there.
As I said to you, anyone that thinks they're coming onto your show for 2 hours
It's like coming on to mine for 3. It ends up being 5.
Yeah. All right, as long as you guys are good, then we can shift. We can shift into the Leicester game. So
Let's do it.
let me where am I up to? Okay, Tottenham Leicester. I'll just read out a few stats, a few little bits and pieces, and then we can get into the things I want to talk about. Tottenham is currently in the 5th position and in the table with 58 points from 33 games. They won 3 of the last 5 matches and lost 1. Spurs are hosting Leicester City after ending the last match in a goalless draw with Brentford. Leicester City are currently 10th with 42 points from 32 games. If we talk about the last 5 games, Leicester have only won 1. They lost 1 game, and 3 of their last 5 have ended in a draw. The Foxes will meet with Spurs after finishing their last game 0-0 with Aston Villa. Tottenham are desperate to secure all 3 points when they host Leicester City on the 1st of May. The Spurs have looked sluggish in the last week. The strong offence has failed to deliver in 2 consecutive matches against lower-ranked sides. In the head-to-head, looking at the prior head-to-head clashes going back to October 2019, or maybe that's February 2019, it shows us that Tottenham have won 4 of the last 6. Leicester have won 2, and we've had 0 draws. The games weren't short on goals. 23 goals in total, which averages 3.83 goals per meeting. That's insane. Leicester do have a major game themselves this evening in the semi-final of the Conference League against Roma. I think that game's starting shortly. So, fellas, I'm going to start with where's my stat? I've got the stats as well. I'll come back to the stats in a minute. Just quickly then, how impactful do we think that Leicester's game this evening is going to be on their energy for Sunday? Do we care what the result the result tonight for them will be? They got their second leg obviously the following week. Do you think they're going to be resting any players on Sunday, depending on what happens tonight? And if so, what sort of outcome are we looking for against Roma? And let's start at the top and walk our way around. Will?
Yeah, I mean, Vardy's just coming back. Apparently he's playing tonight. He's in the starting lineup for tonight. So that's probably good news for us come the weekend, because, he's probably not going to start against us. He may come on against us or something like that, like he normally does, but he probably won't start. I mean, right now that's got to be their focus, right? They're nowhere near reaching an Europa League spot in the league right now. So if they want to continue to do that, that's the route that they got to go. Kind of in the same route that, West Ham is with Arsenal at the weekend. But you never know. Look, if we play our match, there's no reason why we shouldn't trounce Leicester any of the times. So, and we always beat them pretty soundly at home, although we usually don't beat them away, but we did this year, obviously, in the thriller from Manila. Look, going forward, are they going to rest players? Are we going to be able to get results? I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard to say. The numbers are still on our side, but it's getting bleak. It's getting bleak.
Yeah. Okay. Bobby, before we start talking about the tactics, just want to expand on the question I asked to Will. Like, are we likely to be facing a full strength, 100% Leicester City on Sunday, or do you think that their distractions in the Conference League are going to have some impact on the team sheet, and also what effort they can put in on Sunday?
Don't care. It doesn't matter. We need to do our bit. Leicester, even if the strongest Leicester side comes out, we've got the capability of beating them. I have no interest in what they do against Roma. I have no interest in what kind of players they play against us. We need to stand up. Our world-class players need to stand up and be counted. So, we need a result. It's about time they showed it. If we don't beat Leicester for the first time this season, I probably wouldn't be confident of finishing top 4 if Arsenal get a result against West Ham. So, and I'm probably one of the most positive ones out there because 3 games without a win is a run.
And for me, I mean, like I just follow the math, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, even though it might come from 2 different sources of not winning.
I don't necessarily have confidence in this group of players, but I do have confidence in the math. And so as long as the math is in our favor, I'm confident that we have a shot. But the math is getting tight.
Exactly.
And if we lose, end up dropping points to Leicester, we're going to need help to get top 4.
That's it.
So.
Okay, a couple of last questions for Kuva and for Brian, and then we're going to move into something else. So some quotes from Ledley King and Ericsson, and then I want to get into the formation and the options and what we can talk about that. So, both Sonny and Kane Kuva have got exceptional records against Leicester. Kane has scored more goals against Leicester City than any other team.
It's like 11 or 12, right?
Yeah. I think it's 12. Yeah. Kuvs,
Son's at like 9.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, these 2 are obviously where we should be looking for to step up, right? Because they've both been really quiet the last couple of games. Kuba, are you looking for these 2 to be the difference between the 2, or are you going to be looking more, or are you worried more, or focusing your wishes for change to be coming a little bit deeper in the field, better from Dyer, that sort of stuff, better from the midfield, or are you looking for just Harry Kane and Sonny just to be the gods that they are and just get the job done for us?
I don't think either of them needs to step up. I think it's the rest of the team that needs to step up. It's getting the ball to them in those dangerous areas that matters. And we've been very poor at that. I'm looking for a bit more support down the wings when we attack on both wings, because the amount of times we were looking, Bentancur in particular, is trying to feed Harry Kane the whole time because there's just nothing happening either side of him. There was just no real forward momentum either wing. We were very one-dimensional, very easy to mark. I'm expecting the team to push forward in more directions. That proper 3-pronged attack like were having when we were smashing goals in left, right, and centre. But it's Leicester. We always do well against Leicester. Harry Kane always does well against Leicester. So I'm confident. I think we'll go in there. Even if we're not playing in top gear, Kane and Sonny to score goals, why not? I mean, Leicester themselves, they're not doing very well, are they? They're playing. No. It's a bit of a familiar thing that they're doing at the moment. It's a lot of keepy-uppy football, a lot of side-to-side stuff, not penetrating the opposition very well. And their fans must be a bit frustrated as well. So on paper, it's looking like a close game, both teams struggling to score, but we got Kane and Sonny, and they love Leicester.
I do think as well, all this narrative, we're a fan base of excuses, and there'll be a narrative about Kane going to golfing and all this bollocks that comes out after a result doesn't go our way. It can't be as simple as we've just not performed. And that's what's happened the last 2 games. All this thing about, teams have worked out how to play against Sonny and Kane. I'm sorry, but Sonny's probably been, for me, certainly been the best left winger in the world in the last few years, and Harry Kane's probably been one of the best.
Not probably.
And Harry Kane's been one of the best strikers, one of the best strikers in the world for God knows how long. Lo and behold, people are trying to mark him.
All right, well, but on that point though,
you can't give him a world-class title and then say, "I'm sorry, but Lewis Dunk has had the better of you." They've performed not because Lewis Dunk had the game of his life, but Harry Kane and Sonny haven't been bringing their A game of late. They need to do that. They need to step up as well. But Kuva's spot on. Without the team around them performing as well, without Sonny making that run that we've not seen of late, and certainly Decky not being at the front foot, then it's not going to work. But no, I don't think teams have worked out to play against Harry Kane and Sonny, because them 2 players alone have got the beating of any, and I mean any, defender in the world.
And also too, it's 18 in all competitions. By the way, I just wanted to be, if I'm not accurate, people will burn me.
Clip that.
Oh God!
Well, listen, Bob's
very quickly add to that one. There was points against Brentford when we were so lacking in options on the forward pass that the ball was still going into Kane's feet when he had 4 players on it.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. That's how little.
And he had no
the
options,
people-
did he, Coof? He had
Yeah,
no options.
exactly.
There was no-
And then people
there was
say,
no
"Oh,
outlay.
Kane's playing crap. He lost the ball."
No.
What the hell was he supposed to do?
Exactly.
It's the rest of the team needs to step up. We need to be going forward as a unit.
Well, on the note, right? So just taking what Bob's just said, Brian. So
Yeah.
after the
Get a drink, guys. All right, I'm just going to get a drink.
no worries, Bob. After the Brentford game, so Bobby's saying that we're not predictable, or we're not. It's not that teams have figured out how to play against us. So I read these quotes out on the stream with Kuva a couple of days ago. I'll read them out to you, Brian. So I'd like to get your take on it, and then we can move into the formations as well. And if anyone else wants to chime in as well, be more than feel free to. But so Ledley King said, I think with Harry, teams are sensing that Tottenham like to build up through Harry. They are really doubling up on him at times and getting bodies around him and making it difficult. And that seems to have taken this Tottenham out of their momentum. And then later in the same interview, Christian Eriksen came out after the game and said, I think we knew what they were coming with. I've played with Conte and I know the system he likes to play. And we trained in the week how we thought they would play. And they played exactly as we expected. So Bob Spur thinks that we're not predictable, or that it's not something there's a problem there. It's just that, Kane and Sonny have a bit of an off day, but also the rest of the team couldn't get the ball to him and they need to go around it. Christian Eriksen is saying the opposite. So Eriksen's saying we knew exactly what was going to happen, and what we thought happened would happen. Is there a problem here, Brian?
So first of all, the king has spoken. Long live the king. Now I've got that. now that I've got that out of the way, listen. The problem with being found out, or people say we've been found out, you've got to remember we're playing in a place where Harry Kane needs creativity to score, but Tottenham Hotspur at the moment need creativity to score, and both of them stem from the same man. Yeah. Unfortunately, if you look at it the way we're playing right now, so back in the day with Pete Poch, you never knew where anything. All you knew is Harry Kane would more than likely be at the end of it, and Son. But right now, it's not just been this season where people know low block us and we just are all out of ideas. And again, that comes down to personnel on the pitch. Christian Eriksen's obviously going to say that coming from the other side, and Ledley King's obviously going to say what he says coming from our side. But the point of it is obviously in those 4-game winning streak, Harry Kane was instrumental in all of it, and in most of them, he didn't even score. So that shows just how reliant we are on him. And like Hoover and Bob were just saying, people still passing to him when there's 4 people around him. He's not Paul Gascoigne that can have 4 people out of him and get twist and turn out of people. Harry Kane is finding someone, pass, like exquisite passes, like David Beckham-esque kind of passing. Jesus Christ. Since you said Harry King, it's going to pop for me. But yeah, this is the thing.
Is that Carol Poskin?
Yeah, maybe. But this is where we're at. If Harry Kane doesn't drop deep, we can't get the ball up top and make any substantial.
It's a catch-22, isn't it? Right? Like you want him there to score the goals, but you need him there to create the goals. So which one do you pick? But against Brentford, we did neither. He stayed up front, and we couldn't get the ball to him. We could have gone long. We didn't.
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've had other goal scorers. Son has obviously chipped in with a vast amount. Kulusevski. But if you look at all our goals in that run, Harry Kane has something to do with, I would say, over 75% of them. Whether it be the ball to the person that made
Kane will know.
That's not true, actually.
Yeah, Will know. Go on, Will.
More like 45% of them, yeah.
That's still pretty good.
It's still majority.
Pretty good for one person to be creating almost 50% of our chances. And especially when his main thing we need him to do is stay up top to finish them. Because I would rather have Harry Kane on the end of something and feel more certain we're going to get a goal than anyone else. Some to an extent, them two have to be at the end of everything for it to be like, right, we're scoring here. But this is what it is. So you got to look at it. Harry Kane at the moment is essential to everything. Everything.
Yeah.
And
of course they are.
And I would I would stand by it at the moment. Like my first statement is, we need Harry Kane up. We need to feed Harry Kane for him to score. But we need Harry Kane. And as good as Harry Kane is, he's not assisting himself. He's not going to whip it in and then start running into his own cross, is he? Or own pass. And we need to find a solution to that. And it at the moment, it's proving very, very hard to find a solution within that team.
I love the fact that you just said we need to find a solution to that, because that's what we're here to do, right?
I sent you the assist, mate.
You've absolutely sent me the assist here. So I have got, I think, 6 or 7 different potential options of how to do that, right? And I want to start, if you guys are up for it, if you've got a little bit of time, we shouldn't go through each one. They're not that obviously that different. Will, I want to start with you. Well, you know what? Actually, we'll just make it a round table. Just round table. So chime in whenever you want, guys, and we'll go from there. I've been calling out, screaming out for something different, anything different. If we play the same 3-4-3 with the same team, which is, as you see on the screen here, essentially as you were, the only difference might be whether you swap Sessegnon for Reguilon. But apart from that, it's as you were. This is option 1, right? It's just same as it was, but do better. It's not what I want to see. Will, Bob, Kuva, Brian, take it whoever you want. Does anybody particularly want to see the same formation with the same team on against Leicester, and the only potential difference being Sessegnon for Reguilon?
No, I don't want to see Mr. Emerson wear a Spurs shirt ever again. After that performance, unless it's like, I don't want to see Emerson's name on the back of a Spurs shirt unless it's Cody Mack's shirt.
Yeah,
but hey, look. Other than that, like, I'd rather have Sessegnon play on the right and then Reguilon play on the left than Emerson.
We've got that option, so we'll come to that. So you're not a fan of doing the same thing again? No.
Nope.
Bob, Kuba, Brian.
Yeah, keep it as it is, apart from Emerson. If it means Sessegnon going down the right, so be it. But even Emerson, man, he's one of our own. He plays in the Tottenham shirt. If he starts, as much as we don't want to, and I don't want to, we have to give him his full backing. I know Will will say no, we don't. But during the 90 minutes, we have to. I wouldn't change anything. This is the same system.
I will be rooting for him to not make a mistake, Bob. Yes,
that's it. But it's the same system, and majority of the players who came out of nowhere to fourth.
So you want this one, Bob? Do you? So you want to see the same 3-4-3 with Kane as, I know the numbers are all wrong, but Kane, Sonny, and Mora. Or sorry, Kane. Oh, that's not sorry, that should be Kulu up there. But you want to see Sessegnon playing as an inverted right back? Do you?
I like to see that, but there's nothing to justify Sessegnon playing down the right, apart from he's done it a couple of times for Fulham. But all these shouts for Lavinia and Postotsky, I don't understand why we're shouting for them. Like Will says, if they were good enough, they would have played by now. And to put a youngster in with 5 games to go in much-win games, I'm not for that. If Emerson starts, I'd lose a bit of sleep over it. Yeah, but I just don't think it's right. Hey, listen, the system has got us from nowhere up to fourth.
Yeah.
It's up to these players to stand up and do what they were doing before. And let's be honest, like Hoover says, it's only Leicester.
Okay, so you're saying, I don't know why I put Emerson on all these things. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. It should be Emerson, obviously.
Probably because when he's selecting the team, he's going.
So look, I've posited, if we want to stay with the same 3-4-3 with Kane as like a forward, like a number 9. If I put Sessegnon on the right, the reason why I put Mora on the right, and it could have been Mora or it could have been Bergwijn, but if you're going to play an inverted right wing back, who's left-footed, it doesn't work if you play another left-footed inverted right wing forward in Kulusevski. Both of the players are going to want to like dart in, and that's going to leave so much spaces. So that for me, the only way you'd have Sessegnon here and allow him to cut in is if you have someone who's got a right foot on them, who's more likely to go down the byline and keep the Leicester defense guessing. And so if you want to put Sessegnon, if you want to swap Emerson out and put Sessegnon in to give you a little bit more solidarity or defensive strength, rather than putting in a Kulusevski or whatever, or Mora or whoever at right wing back, then for me, you have to do it if you're going to do it, you have to drop Kulusevski and put a right footer on the right side of the forward line. Kuva, do you agree with that, or would you be happy to see Sessegnon and Kulu both left footers on the right hand side of the pitch?
Right. Well, there's two ways of looking at this. What do I think Conte will do? And I think he'll stick with what we've been seeing recently anyway, because there's so little choice for him. Same
again. You're seeing the same old, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But for me, I don't give a monkeys about these formation things. I think we read way too much into it. If it was down to me, I'm a big fan of the old Ajax system, the total football 3-7 formation. There's no set roles. It's a serious system. There's no set roles. I just want to see 11 players who are tactically good, intelligent, and hate losing. If you put them on a football pitch, they can work it out as they're going along what they need to do. You only need the rough sort of, the sort of rocks of the team of the three at the back. The rest of them are interchangeable. It should be a really fluid system. Very difficult to mark. Players covering each other's positions, helping each other out. Attackers unit, a defenders a unit. It's way too rigid, all these formations for my liking. Football doesn't play like that. It's like a rough guideline. Offensively, I understand if you've got like these the kind of the telepathy with your teammates and you can all move around, but defensively you need to have structure. But offensively is our problem, is it not?
Yeah. So this is where
creativity and offensive.
This is the one thing everyone's talking, Emerson, and I completely agree with it. But the one thing that I would change immediately, and I'm fed up of doing it or seeing us do it, is we need to win games. We should have been winning against Brentford, and exactly what you said, Sean, during the watch along is how I've been feeling. I would rather go all out attack or more attacking and lose going for it,
take the risk,
rather than sitting. So for me, Bentancur or Hojbjerg, one of them come out, and you have one defensive midfielder, and you put on a Bergwijn somewhere or whatever. That's not my decision to find out how and where, but we don't need. And Bentancur for the last two games has been playing with a knock. And why does he have to? Because we've got no other options to play two defensive in the midfield. I would rather have, if Bentancur still got his knock, out you go on the bench, put on a more attacking player. If we go 2 or 3 up, then you can go, right, we need to sit on this. Then you bring him on. Because the last 2 games we've been speaking here just before the question, lack of creativity, lack of options, lack of avenues to go down. Well, I'm sorry, playing Bentancur and Hojbjerg when you need to win, we should be able, like Convoy said, we should be able to beat any team on the day. And we should, with the people we had, even on the bench, be able to get more than 1 point out of Brentford and Brighton. But we have been boring, no attempts on target. So let's get rid of a central defensive midfielder and go a little bit more from the start. And go a little bit more attacking.
That's insane. I love it. That's insane.
No, but this is the thing. You got to remember, can you imagine you'll be there in the crowd. If they see this formation again and we don't get off to a good start, you know what's going to happen.
I will lose my shit on the stream.
Exactly.
Okay. If you saw them come out and we went with just the one central defensive midfielder, immediately 62,500 people think, right, we're on it today. We want to attack. We want to go for it. And that will change the whole mood in that stadium, the whole mood of it. So for me, if I was Conte, I am dropping one of the CDMs for sure.
Hey, it's a little bit drastic for me. So, but Bobby, Kuba. Sorry, who wanted to come in quickly?
There was something earlier in the season. One of Conte's earliest games. I've forgotten who it was against, but there was this crazy situation we had at one point where Emerson had turned up on a left wing role, and Davinson Sanchez was in the middle waiting for the cross. I love that kind of unpredictability. I love the fact players can go way out of position when you don't expect them. Let's have a bit of craziness like that. We've lost that sort of fluidity in the team. It's really predictable, like everybody keeps saying. We've got to have a little bit more brave in what we do going forward. Actually go at it. Like Brian's quite right. Throw the kitchen sink at teams. We need 3 points. Sitting back and just hoping for a win and good enough.
I don't mind doing that kind of drastic action at 45, 60 minutes or whatever, where we like it's all or nothing. But to start the game with only one defensive midfielder, I find is.
I can guarantee
I'd be scared. I'd be scared
I
about
can
that.
guarantee you would not be, and Brian would not be saying that just after the Everton game.
What, the when we won 5-1, 5-0?
5-0, yeah. We wouldn't be talking about two defensive midfielders, this, that, whatever, because we were winning games.
Yeah.
No, if Emerson's playing, yeah, I would.
Well, Emerson, yeah. I mean, Doctor was there, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Emerson did play away at Man City, by the way, when we won 3-2.
Would you guys rather have? Would you rather just swap? Now, if you want to go drastic and aggressive, for me, I thought the obvious option to be more aggressive without, throwing the kitchen sink is to keep this formation, ask Kane to drop a little bit deep where necessary, but then just take Kulu or Mora in for Emerson, and then hope that because Romero's already doing the job of two defenders. He's already doing Emerson's job. So why does it matter? Why have Emerson in if Emerson's also doesn't want to make any runs, doesn't want to run down into the channels? Like that for me makes the most sense as a formation.
Okay, so the reason that Bob, you're right, I wouldn't have been saying it after Everton is because after Everton we still had games on our side, whereas right now we don't, and we're playing before Arsenal every single game, apart from when we play them. So, and if we need to send a message, we have to send a message. And doing it your way, Sean, like you said, after 55, 60 minutes or whatever, that could be 60 minutes too late.
True.
So, but what you're saying now with this formation, again, you're saying if Kane drops deep, but if Leicester go ahead and play a three-man midfield, it's going to have the same as what we had in the last two games. So there's people that are counteracting that. So we've got to look at what we do here. And for me, like you said again in the watch, we've come to the time now where I'd rather go out saying we tried.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I agree with that.
Whimper across the line with, it's the point. We didn't create anything, but at least like you said, a point and 0 points right now.
It's irrelevant. Yeah,
exactly.
Now, there's a different situation. If Conte is going to be here next season, and if transfers are going to happen regardless of our table position, then it doesn't matter. Then just go and stick with your philosophy. Try to build habits into the players. Blah blah. That's fine. The problem is, I don't believe it's going to happen regardless of where we finish in the table. I think there's a big chance Conte could be gone in the summer, and I think there's a big chance that Levy's going to try to weasel his way out of buying anybody. So that's the only reason why, for me, I feel like we have to get top four. Like, I think those things ride on that. They depend on that. So for me, there's a sense of urgency there that it's in my gut. Now, whether that sense of urgency is valid or not is a different story. But I mean, that's the reason why I have the rationale that I have. But I look, Conte himself said Kulu can play at right wing back. So option 5 to me makes sense. Whether Kane necessarily sits there or plays more of like a CF role, a free-floating role where he can play high or play low or whatever he wants to do, and it's still that same 3-4-3, except now you just got Bergwijn and Kulu in there. I don't mind that at all. I don't even mind it if the two are switched.
What about this? Hang on, where's the other one? Where a book? Would you have is there any interest in moving Kulusevski into a central role?
Yes, if Emerson's not playing. But he needs to be off the pitch altogether.
So you'd have Kulusevski here and switch him with so Sessegnon on the right, and then just let Sessegnon control, and then he can cut in, and then just goes for a bit more of a narrow 3 in midfield. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're playing a 4 at the back, where Emerson's playing at a fullback or something like that.
Okay, so I got that. I got this one as well. 4-2-3-1.
I don't think he's going to go to Bergwijn in behind Kane, though. That's what I would do. Son on the left, Bergwijn in behind Kane.
Okay. I think this is, as much as I think that we can do this. When people say we haven't got any options, we do have options.
We do have options.
And this is one, but I don't think he's ever going to play it.
Do the same thing with the 3-5-2 too. By the way, you can have Kulu sit in the middle, with Mora or Bergwijn on the right.
This one. Oh wait, this one. 3-5-2 with who? So Kulu sit in the middle. Bergwijn on the where? In Emerson's spot. Yeah. Yeah. Is there? Do you think there's any truth to the rumors that Bergwijn doesn't want to play right wing back?
Yeah, if he doesn't, he can start off.
Yeah, fuck that. If he doesn't want to play for my club, then you can fuck off. Just like Conte, I believe these PSG rumours are bollocks. I don't think they're true. But if there is an ounce of truth in there and his head is turned by PSG, see you later, mate. Fuck off.
It was actually just a report just came out. Pochettino came out and publicly said 100% Mbappe and I will be back next season. So
Mbappe as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was always
both of them out then.
So you know what I was just saying with my feelings on this with the PSG rumours. Do I think they're bollocks? Yes, because they want Europe, and the one thing we know is Europe is Conte's Achilles heel. But the one thing I think this is, I've said it before, I think this is Conte's people putting feelers out, not for the job, but like players do when they want a transfer request or whatever, their agents start putting shit out. Do I think Daniel Levy, there is an argument going on with backing, but do I think it's about the amount of money? No, I don't. Do I think it's about the quantity of players? No, I don't. Do I think it's about we're not buying one for the future and let's buy ready-made players and fuck their resale value? Yes, I most certainly 100 billion% do. So I reckon he's putting feelers out to just literally say, listen, you don't want to do it. I don't think, I know Conte don't want to leave. I just solely think this whole debate is about, instead of buying players for the future, but we don't even know the manager that will have them for the future. So how do we know if they'll be good for the future? I think it's solely on the wanting to buy a De Vrij at 29-30 and maybe not having the resale value that the parasite wants. So yeah, that's what I think this whole. So do I think Conte to PSG is a goer? No. Do I think someone in Conte's camp has put feelers out? Yes.
We should fire him. It's not doing any good, is it? I'm sorry. These conversations of wanting to buy players, what type of buy players with Levy could and should be happening in private. There's no need for all this.
It's what happens now, though, Bob. What happened?
Yeah, but I think, if he's putting the feelers out, then he can feel himself all the way to PSG, as far as I'm concerned. Only one players and managers at Spurs who want to stay here. And,
he wants to. That's what I'm saying. He does want to.
Well, then keep him. He's best off keeping his mouth shut and all these people who.
Oh, Bob, come on! You know you got your girl on your left arm and you're walking through a crowd and you're feeling on other girls too as you're walking through. It's all right.
There's only one girl for me, baby. There's only one girl for me.
You know that meme? You know that meme with that guy who's walking and he's looking behind and there's like
yeah.
That's the girl behind is PSG and it's Conte.
Bob walking through a crowd, little biscuit bump never hurt nobody, right? A little biscuit bump never hurt nobody. That's all he's doing. He's just giving PSG a biscuit bump, Bob. That's all good.
Biscuit bump.
West Ham have equalised, boys and girls.
Yeah, don't give a shit.
Don't care either. They're so angry. Look at them, furious.
By the way, Chelsea are battering Man United. They're not scored yet, but I think it's like 12 shots to 0, and we've only played 36 minutes. All over them. It is, I know I said this before, no one agreed with me. I know we're going off topic, but I'm actually sad to see Man United, who I always consider a glamour club, and we strive to be like Man United when we were growing up. Certainly within the 8, to see him like this, man, it is a bit sad to see him. A pathetic sad, maybe, but it's just not right, man. It's not right.
They're going to be on the mother of all rebuilds in the summer, and I feel like it's going to be a tricky one. If the Tottenham needs 7 or 8 players, but Man United needs 7 or 8 players, maybe even more players than we need. The market's going to be spicy in the summer. It's going to be inflated again, and just hope that I hope that Tottenham can get their business done early.
Could you imagine Cristiano Ronaldo?
I actually want West Ham to win the Europa League. I generally do. And the reason I do, why? Because if you look at a few years ago, when they were going absolutely batshit crazy at the chairman, finding him on the motorway and literally going up to the director's box and going batshit crazy at them, they backed Moyes. I'm not talking financially with loads and loads of millions. He said, I want a player like Craig Dawson to sort out the midfield. I want players like this.
Would you want any of the players? West Ham didn't sign anybody in January. In the summer, they did fuck all.
What I'm saying is the fans stood up and started doing things. Moyes got what he wanted, and now they've had a second top 4 push or Euro push, and they're on the verge of winning a huge European Cup. And that's after fans did what they did. So when
I'm not sure how effective it was though. They signed Souček and they signed.
Yeah, but no, that's the thing. That's what we're saying though with Conte. We don't need hundreds and hundreds of millions. It's buying the right players to fit what the manager wants, which we never do.
I take your point, but I think if you were to ask the average West Ham fan what they think of their ownership,
they still hate them, but they
hate them.
But do you see them protesting right now? Do you see him arguing with them right now? Do you see him continuously? No.
I'd be amazed. I mean, I don't know what West Ham's online community is like, but I do think it's worth pointing out. Like, there's probably a disproportionately high amount of people that dislike Daniel Levy in the online community versus the natural Spurs community. A lot of the people out there that support Tottenham, but like it doesn't dictate their lives. All of us that spend hours on streams, all the guys in the comments that spend their free time watching us and giving their opinions. Like Tottenham means a little bit more to us, or at least we have enough time to go and talk about this stuff over and over again. People like my dad, for example, I'm sure all of your families and friends, or whatever, that support Tottenham, they're not going to come and watch us talk about this stuff online. And I think that the more like the online communities have a larger percentage of more passionate and therefore more on the peripheral, on the spectrum of opinions, more on one side or the other. So I'd imagine that there's probably, for every 100 people that watch us do this show, if there's 40 people that hate Daniel Levy or 50 people that hate Daniel Levy, I reckon that percentage is probably larger in the online community than it would be if you were to ask the average Tottenham fan on the street.
Leicester are losing.
Yeah. I just want to say...
and that's because the average fan on the street has objective opinions.
Well, it's not even that. I know what Brian's saying, but I just think it's a sad state of affairs. We have to determine our dislike of a board based on the success of a West Ham.
That's what it's going to come down to, though.
And I think that's a shame. That's why I keep on saying I don't care what West Ham do. I don't care. And I said this to Stel the other night as well, and he was going, if Arsenal go and spend, I couldn't care less. I don't care if Arsenal go and spend 500 million. We shouldn't be basing what we spend on other teams. We need to spend what we need to spend. That's who I judge it on. We could spend 200 million.
Though.
It's always a moving target, though, Bob. Like in reality, if you want, unless you're moving forward, if you're standing still, you're moving backwards because everyone else is moving forward. We're competing with Newcastle next season, which we haven't been. Man United are going to rebuild. Like I do think you have to keep an eye on what other people are doing, and that is something it's a variable.
I disagree. We can aspire to be. I'll look at Liverpool. Absolutely best. For me, they're the best football team in the world. There's nothing wrong with looking at them and saying that's who we want to be.
And they don't overspend. They never overspend. They got a very strict structure.
Here's if we don't look at other people though, we diddle daddle like we do all the time, and we end up losing players to other people because we take our sweet ass time to do things because who doesn't want to play for Tottenham Hotspur? It's like seriously, like the leadership at our club is absolutely deluded to think they're at a level that they're not, right? Like this, like you can go in for Luis Diaz and just automatically assume if you don't lock it in the first try, you're gonna have a second one, because that's not how it works.
Yeah. Do you think we would have got Luis Diaz if we
absolutely
if we
would have paid what they wanted? Yeah.
But I thought we offered what they wanted.
No, we offered 10 million less.
Yeah. And how often is it that delay that stops us getting a player?
Yeah.
Maybe.
We've seen it time and time again. In fact, Brian will know very well. About 21 years of it, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, funny enough, if my memory serves me correctly.
And why is it always £10 million less? It's Daniel Levy's favorite number.
Will, the whole Grealish thing still bugs me. Think of Grealish all you want, but we could have signed him for 6.5 million.
But nobody else did. Nobody else did, Bob.
Levy. No, I know no one else did, but he still went in and tried to haggle that price.
No, but there was 19 other Premiership teams at the time. Villa were in the Champions. That's
so fucking what?
So what?
Yeah, his blind person saw his potential.
Yeah. Well, but not 19 other teams. 19 other teams.
You can say the same for Romero.
So
hold up.
You can say the same for any player.
No, but
Son.
again, just to give a little bit of balance to the argument, right? If your next door neighbor wants to sell it, if you want to buy the next door neighbor's house, right, and he puts and the market rate for the guy is 500 for the house is 500 grand, and the guy wants $1 million, just because the guy puts the price tag of $1 million doesn't mean it's worth it. I'm not suggesting.
Are you justifying a £6.5 million
with the benefit? I don't know if it was 6.5 million for a start, but with the benefit of
Aston Villa confirmed that.
With the benefit of hindsight, obviously, like that was that got away, but
it wasn't just it's not just hindsight, right? It's, for example, if
19 other Premier League clubs also saw the price tag and didn't do it. So
but that's fine. But what I'm saying, let me give you another analogy, right?
All 20 chairmen in the Premiership, all 20 chairmen in the Premiership figured out that the asking price was too much. And now we know it wasn't.
Well, no, they might not need the left. They might not need the position.
Some of them did.
Sure, but here's another thing. Right. We're all streamers, right? Each of us has a knowledge about camera gear. But if we were to go to a garage sale, the four of you could walk by a gem, right?
Yeah.
I see a camera. But I could walk by and go, boom, that's a $3,000 camera and the selling it for $300.
Yeah.
Right. And even though we all have an understanding of equipment and stuff like that, because if you have that eye, or if you know what you're doing, you're able to find that.
And I agree. Right? And Tottenham are awful. Scouting's awful. Leicester, we know, is a great example of a team that have got better scouting. And I agree with you all 100%. But what I would say is, in terms of the argument, I'll just pay the asking price and then you get the player. We didn't. And you could say, okay, we let one go, but 19 other chairmen also didn't. And then scoot forward 6 years, 7 years, however many years it is. Manchester City just paid the asking price, paid the necessary fee for Grealish, then 100 million. And that looks like the biggest fucking waste of money.
Hindsight, though, isn't it?
That's only. Hold on, it's only a waste of money.
You guys are using hindsight as well to reflect on Grealish, right?
I disagree on that. On it being a flop, it's only a waste of money because people thought he was going to go there, start week in, week out, and be a world beater. But that's not how City plays. Nobody but Kevin De Bruyne.
£100 million player.
No one but Kevin De Bruyne plays every week in that team. No one.
Where's the return on investment on?
I don't give a shit about that.
They don't care.
They don't care, man.
Well, we do. We care about that stuff.
Why?
I pretty much guarantee you we would have made money on 6.5 million.
It wasn't 6.5. It was 20 million.
But that's
6.5, mate.
It was 6.5. It was 6.5. Hold on, and then when they got the new owners came in, the new owners tacked on an extra £4 or £5 million, and then Levy said no. He was going to pay the 6.5, but when they came back with like 10 or 12, he said no.
No, Villa have actually confirmed. And this is in 442 by Aston Villa's, whoever it was. They were all prepared to let Grealish go for 6.5. I don't know what we're talking about. We're well over it. I'm well over it. But Villa were quite happy. They even had his bag packs. It was 6.5 million. We've accepted it. We've accepted 6.5 million from Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Levy thought, right, let's go and do some negotiating.
Yeah.
Can we have £2 or £3 million off, please? They were like, we're not sure. Then the takeover happened, and they're like, what, you want about 2, 3? How about paying us an extra 13.5 million on Grealish? Because they knew full well, once they did not have to sell him, and Levy was going to say no.
Okay.
We could have got him for 6.5
million. It went down from 6.5 to 3 million and Josh Onoma. And this just goes to show the level of Levy's. You got to remember, not only was he trying to haggle over £3.5 million, like Bob just quoted, but this is a club that were about to go out of existence.
Yeah.
Out of existence. So 6.5 million for a Premiership England international is a steal. Yeah, you still try and fuck up and
I'm happy to absolutely 1,000,000% happy to acknowledge that the worst part about Daniel Levy's chairmanship, his skill set, is his ability to negotiate. He goes into every negotiation and thinks it's a battle where it's a zero-sum game. Someone has to win, someone has to lose, and it's a terrible way to do business. You catch far more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. I'm very happy to acknowledge that, And
It's actually false, by the way.
well, it still sounds like a good.
Sounds good, but yeah.
But I use Will's analogy. Now, Will, if you were purely in the camera buying business, you're stuck behind a computer. You want to employ some people. As much as you like us, you're not going to employ a Bobby or a Brian or a Sean. You're going to get someone who's got the same eye as you, who's got the same knowledge as you. The thing about Levy, he surrounds himself by, well, let's be honest, dickheads like himself.
Yeah,
and I'll agree with that as well. I'll agree.
Yeah.
I agree. His hiring process is poor, and he holds on to them far too long.
I don't blame the recruitment on Levy.
You can ask Bob, especially, and Brian Daigle as well. Before we even signed Hill and Emerson, I was against it. I was against it, dead set against it, and we bought him anyway. So if Daniel Levy needs help, my number's, my email address is on my channel. You can hire me. You can pay me $100,000 a year, dude. I bet I made it way less than Paratici. Yeah, probably do just as good as job.
But like if we're gonna go down that path of cherry picking the ones that didn't work, just for the sake of balance, there's plenty of people that we have bought at valuations that turn out to be superstars. Sonny's a perfect example.
One.
Yeah, but I don't think that would actually level the playing field.
Hugo Lloris was a good success.
Yeah, sure.
Sonny was a good success.
Sure, I think your wording there about leveling the playing field is way out of kilter.
I didn't say level. I said just in the interest of balance, right? If we're gonna, I'm happy to acknowledge the weaknesses in Daniel Levy. Right, and I completely acknowledge that I think that he's a fucking terrible negotiator. I also believe that he hired poorly, consistently, and hangs on to them too long. But
all the Paul Mitchell signings turned out great.
Yeah. So, but if we're gonna credit Paul Mitchell with those, then we should criticize the Paul Mitchell Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV that come along the way, rather than Daniel. Yeah. So so the criticism should be on the guys that identified the players that we overpaid for, not the fact that we overpaid for them. Like
who did we overpay for under Paul Mitchell?
What I'm saying is that we overpaid for Brian Hill. We overpaid for him. People say, like Daniel Levy doesn't spend any money. He does spend a lot of money. He spends a lot of money badly on the advice of players.
You want me to talk bad about Paratici? I'm right here. I'll do that. We're good.
And the guys before him, right? And Steve Hitchen.
Paul Mitchell left because he wasn't listened to.
Steve Hitchen was
and I guarantee if he did listen, he would have spent a hell of a lot less money. Maybe not have bought in the same amount of players quantity-wise, but sure as hell, the players he would have been bought in quality-wise would have far surpassed what the others have brought in, without a doubt. Like you said, Paul Mitchell was losing him was one of the biggest blows we've had in our recent history.
Let me ask this, Brian. Let me just as I was thinking about this. How can I posit a scenario that so a lot of the people that hate on Daniel Levy, they use the argument or the point that we have it's the longest drought in trophies, right?
Yep.
So if we'd won one of the finals that we've been involved in the last 10 years, then we would have equaled our traditional one trophy every 9-year ratio.
Yep.
If we had won, let's say, the 2015 Carabao Cup that we lost on penalties to Manchester United, 0-0, and we lost, I think it was 5-3 on penalties. Coin flip of an outcome, but it went the wrong way. If we'd won that, then the argument that we've had the longest droughts of trophies since, in Tottenham's history would be null and void.
I think it would still apply.
Well,
2 and 20 years is still.
How many finals have we been in?
4 finals. Actually, I've got it. Hang on, I've got the data.
In 21 years.
Hang on.
4.
Hang on. I got it here. Where is it?
4 if you don't count the Audi Cup.
3 domestic.
In the last,
Champions League.
So in the last since 2021, since 2001, I think it is. We've got Champions League 2 last 16 finishes, 1 last 8 finish, 0 semi-finals, and one final, right, and 0 winner. Europa League 4 last 16s, 3 last 8, 4 last 16s, 2 quarterfinals, nothing further than that. League Cup 1 last 16, 4 last 8s, 3 semi-finals, 4 finals, and 1 winner. FA Cup 4 last 16s, 2 quarterfinals.
How do you have
4
3 semifinals and 4 finals? Or you say that's just 3, so it'd be 7 semifinals plus
7 semifinals or finals, and one winner. So 8 in the Carabao Cup.
Okay.
8 times over the last 20 years, we've got to either semifinal, final, or the final.
Okay, and the question
or
is,
one. No, I'm just saying. So I've just got those stats up around kind of how close we came, and we didn't convert very many of them at all. So if we converted one of those, the Carabao Cup, just one of them, then we would have matched any other period of Tottenham's history with our average trophies. At that point, a lot of the Levy complaint would be negated by the fact that we have had as regular success as we have had any other chairman. And then you can start to factor in the fact that we've done the stadium and the training ground, and we've got to, two Premier League, almost, a runner-up and a third place, etc. Suddenly, Daniel Levy looks like the most successful chairman.
No, because we won 2 trophies in the 90s. We won 4 or 5 trophies in the 80s.
One penalty shootout. One penalty shootout, flick of a coin, and the argument
20
changes.
But Sean, it's been 20. Hold on, Brian. It's been 20 years, right? Not 10, right? Because we won 2 trophies in the 90s. We won like 4 trophies in the 80s. So it would still, even with that win in 2015, it would have been 1 win in 10 years, which is still the worst record in our history in the last.
That's the average record. If you go back, it's on the average is 1 every 10 years.
So this is where stats can be misleading, because this is the thing.
You have to go back to like the 40s.
I know it's misleading. I know it is.
But what I'm saying is just winning one of those cups. Listen, Bob said it the other day. I can't remember what show. It might have even been his own before I came on, when he said that I'm hardcore and it doesn't matter what happens. We could win the double next year, and I still want Levy out.
I know you would. Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. People think that all we care about is money on the pitch and trophies. It's not. It's players lost. It's lives broken. It's bringing season ticket prices forward. It's the story that's floating around now that I know personally with the guy that's got stage 4 colon cancer. It's all these other things that just roll into a ball. So when people say, do you know what? And I'm not saying you, Sean. I'm saying, because you just said the question. I'm saying people that do say this, like, if we had just won that 1 trophy, then things would be different. As Vin Diesel says in Fast and Furious, and I use this fucking, mate, I use this line all the fucking time. Winning is winning. It doesn't matter if it's by an inch or a mile. I don't care.
I get it.
I don't care how many semi-finals. We could get to the next 10 FA Cup finals and lose them.
I get it. All I'm saying is that if you're good enough to get to the semi-final or the final, Daniel Levy can't do much about the conversion. He's not walking on the pitch.
Well, no, he can.
So that's why I just think it's part of the conversation. We should remember those things. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind.
No,
I'm not trying to tell anyone that they're wrong. I'm just trying to say we should remember the context. If we converted a couple of those, then he'd be talking about a different chairman.
It's like the thing I tweet.
Yeah, minus the 20s and 30s, though.
When I say, do you know what? Once the players cross the white line, the result and the performance has absolutely nothing to do with Daniel Levy. However, the very fact they're able to put that white shirt on and cross that line has everything to do with Daniel Levy. So when people say, he didn't pick the formation, he didn't tell that Kane's son or Romero or Emerson were going to have a bad game. No, he didn't. But the fact that Emerson is allowed to cross the pitch as a Tottenham Hotspur player is down to Levy. Yes, Paratici as well, but it's down. This is where the lines get blurry, because people think, this isn't Levy. The fact that we haven't.
I don't think Emerson is Levy's fault. He paid a massive amount of money for someone that he was told.
He should have got Tomiyasu, the one that we really wanted.
He hasn't been fantastic for Arsenal, has he?
Remember, the line came out of the club, and Will know this because me and Will spoke a lot about this on air and in private. We couldn't sign him because of complications at the Olympics. But at Brian Hill, there was no complications. Who was at the Olympics? So it's funny that one for the future, one for the now. And who won? The one for the future. Where is that one for the future? Back in the Spanish league, getting minutes, where he's going to come back and be in exactly the same place.
I agree with that.
This is the whole point with it. So when you say Emerson may not have been his fault, it is his fault, because if you just paid the right amount of money for the number one target we wanted in that position,
Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu's done fuck all for Arsenal.
No, but you say that, but who knows what he would have done for Nuno?
Because he was injured for the half the season.
That was
but now, like, you accused me of doing if buts and maybes a minute ago. Now you're doing it as well. Like, who knows, right? I'm just saying that all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. I know that ship has long since sailed. I know. But for the purposes of the debate, for anyone that's interested, I would posit that if you're good enough to get to 14, King Hoddle saying it, 14 semi-finals in 20 years, 6 losing finals and 8 losing semi-finals, and we converted one of them. Like, if you're good enough to get that far in competitions, then you should be able to get that one step further, or you should be able to put it on there. And the argument that, well, not necessarily, because the teams that everyone played against, we played against, were always better than us. Well, then, I'll say this stat again. 86% of all the trophies that have been won in the last 20 years under Daniel Levy's tenure have been won by 6 teams. But the other 14% were won by teams like Portsmouth, by Middlesbrough, by Wigan, right? And Birmingham City, Leicester, right? So there are weaker teams than Tottenham that have won trophies, and Tottenham were one of the other teams as well. Like they
Arsenal a couple years ago.
Well, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Man City, and Chelsea have won. Oh, sorry, it's by 5 teams. 86% won by 5 teams. All I'm saying is that the other 7 teams that have won haven't been as good as Tottenham, and a lot of the teams that were in that other 7, that pack of 7, beat teams that are in the pack of 5 that I mentioned that are the always competitive. I also think it's harder now to win a trophy than it ever has been before because of the money gap that's come into all the sugar daddies. I'm not trying to change anyone's opinion. I just think it's worth just making sure that information is out there in the ether when other people.
But you got to also make sure that it's out there in the ether that you have to go all the way back from the 40s and the 30s to find a 20-year period where we haven't won a trophy.
Okay, but you also have to go all the way back to the 1960s to find a time when we won the league, right? So maybe Tottenham fans have got our station. We're above our station in terms of, like, the last time we came close to winning the league, we won it in 1961. Ever since then, it only happened on Daniel Levy's tenure, and that was twice.
We won 3 trophies in the 90s.
No, we came close to winning the league in the 80s as well.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like, I think we are the best version of Tottenham Hotspur. We might not have converted, but we are competing at the highest level under Daniel Levy's tenure.
Why didn't he push on? Why didn't he push on? We were title challengers. Because of challengers only a few years ago. Why didn't we push on?
Because of very specific set of variables.
No. There was no reason, and I mean 0 reason, we could not bring in 2 players while we were challenging. No reason.
Well, there was. There's 1 billion reasons why we couldn't rebuild.
But that's finance. That doesn't come out of our operating income.
It does. It does come out of it. The level. We had debt that we had to finance. Right, like you have to have 5-year profit you have to have 5-year forecasting. Like, we didn't pay for the stadium out of money that comes out of the things that affect FFP, but you have to finance the debt. You have to have forecasting where the money's going to come from to pay for we pay £30 million a year just on interest.
That's $30 million a year. That's nothing
in interest, just in interest, not paying down the debt, just in interest alone.
So we were the first club in history that can't afford players in transfer windows.
No, what? What are you talking about?
Arsenal in transfer windows with no signings.
Arsenal went 8 years after moving to the Emirates before they won another trophy.
They bought players.
They were signing players though, weren't they?
They didn't buy that. They in the first summer after they moved the stadium, they didn't. They bought a player in the January window as a goalkeeper.
First time in history, Sean, that a club never bought a player for 2 transfer windows. Zilch. And there's absolutely nothing you can say, with all due respect, love you. There's absolutely nothing you can say to me that justifies not bringing in a player when we were at the Plum, where we were only 1-2 players away from challenging. You cannot say anything because
we weren't 1-2 players away. We had to replace Kieran Trippier. We had to replace Moussa Dembele. We had to replace Victor Wanyama. We had Christian Eriksen put down tools. There wasn't 1 or 2 players away. That was a whole
I'm
rebuild.
not talking about then. I'm talking when we were when we were actually. If you're telling me that we couldn't bring in the right players to take us to the Fergie,
I'm not saying we couldn't. I'm not saying we couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we couldn't.
Sean, those players you've just mentioned, the Dembele, Wanyama. Who's the other one you mentioned?
Trippier.
Kieran Trippier, Christian Eriksen.
Okay, so my question to you is: have they been replaced? Any of them?
Yeah. Eriksen's going to come in to replace Eriksen.
Dembele. I don't care what anyone thinks. This is the one time I will call people deluded. If anyone thinks Dembele has been replaced with Ben,
No, he hasn't been replaced.
They are absolutely deluded. Every single player you just mentioned has not been replaced.
Okay, but rather than having the debate about whether they were replaced, right? What I would like to posit about this is the way I'm trying to do a better way of putting the message across. Because if we have a reasonable debate, I'd actually would say that on the balance of things, I would be more than happy for Daniel Levy to leave. If you can, I'm not asking you to find someone. I know how you feel about that question, Brian. But if there is somebody out there who can pay for the club, who can match the ambitions, who has the interest and knowledge, and doesn't come from a source of money that is legitimizing regimes or that is full of money laundering scandals, then tell me who it is. And if that person exists, I would love that person to come in. But I don't. Fine. But I've done as best I can to try and identify someone like that, and I can't find someone that can fit the bill. So the Levy out thing for me, I'm happy to be on the Levy out debate. I'm happy to be on the Levy out train and get rid of him. I'm happy. I just don't know where that train goes. And better the devil, you know. What I would say though is that when it comes to like we came so close in 2018-19, and then you got a lot of people focus on we didn't replace the players. We didn't do that rebuild, the 2 transfer windows where we didn't replace those guys or didn't sign anybody. Therefore, Daniel Levy is guilty of a cardinal sin, but the same credit isn't given to him for building the team that got us to that position in the first place. If you guys would acknowledge some of the benefits of having Daniel Levy in the past, I would be more likely to acknowledge some of the criticisms that you throw at him for the present. And I don't think you guys do. I feel like you guys say, we got there because of Pochettino. We got there because of luck. We got there because of, a million variables. All of them a million miles away from Daniel Levy's door. But when we got to the promised land and we knocked on the door and we didn't open it, and then we fell back for the last 3 or 4 years, that's Daniel Levy's fault. If you would be more sincere and say, okay, well, maybe Daniel Levy did some good things to get us there in the first place and then he fucked up, I'd be more willing to come on board. But I don't feel like there's not the same credit given where the same criticism is.
You're right to an extent. You like talking about balance and stuff. And I've always said, what a stadium. Absolutely fantastic. I don't mind about the events and concerts that are happening there, as long as we see, and I know it's a separate entity altogether, whatever money we make on events and concerts isn't necessarily Tottenham's money. They've been clever about that. They've put it into a separate entity altogether. But for the biggest frustration for me, for Levy and Enoch, and I know Brian's hardcore Levy out, Enoch Change Your Way doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah.
For me, spot on. If we won the league next season, I'll still be Levy out. For me, it's going to take 2-3 years of consistent build. Every time we get a manager in, it's a fucking rebuild. I don't want to rebuild. We should have built on top of, and when our teams were just 1 or 2 players away.
Some bleeding TV noise.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Well, I can't hear anything. Oh, maybe it's my
TV.
That's me. It's actually me.
You
Sorry.
can't hear anything, and it's your TV.
That's why you can't hear. That's why you can't hear.
It's a frustration.
You mean 30 million? You mean 30 million over the entire thing, right? Because not a year.
What's that?
The finances. It's 30 million total interest.
No, it was 25 million per year on interest. It's now because of the. I'm not sure if the.
What's our interest rate? 10%.
No, well, we had a 750 million quid. I think it's 3%.
3%.
Yeah, but 3% of $1 billion is only 30 million.
Yeah, every year.
That's total.
Every year you pay 3% every year to finance the interest.
3% annual.
Yeah.
It's not fixed.
No, we fixed it. We fixed it as an annual. We fixed an annual APR of I think it's about 4%,
and,
and it's 700. I think we owe 780 million quid in debt right now, and we have about 4.1%. I think
they've got the forecasting wrong, then, haven't they? They've got the because
I mean, you're still only talking $1 million a week.
Yeah,
right. 5 million a month.
It's 30 million quid a year of just interest, not paying down.
So say double that. So pay it down. Your payment, say your payment over whatever it is the same, right? Over 30 years. Yeah. So that would double it. So you're talking 60.
I think we pay. I think on the
last
the
interest drops. See, that's a weird. I don't see that.
I think we're paying 80 million quid a year towards the debt. Right, 30 million is interest and 50 million is nominal, something like that. And don't quote me on it, but I think that's basically what I remember from the figures. So 80 million quid a year that we don't, and you know, that comes out of the coffers, that comes out of the match day receipts, that comes out of the campaign, you know, the prize money, all that shit, all that stuff.
Normally, so I don't know how they do it in the UK.
People say, just quickly, people say, well, it's not our money, it's debt, therefore it doesn't count. Of course it counts. It's still money you have to pay back. Like it's not free money. There's no such thing. Like the stadium wasn't built out on, you know, hopes and dreams. It was built with money that we have to pay back. And that comes in the form of 80 million quid a year, give or take. 30 million of which is debt, 50 million of which is nominal. So that money could be spent on a player, but it's not. So it's not as you know, these are the things we have to. I'm not saying we're skint. I'm not saying we're skint. 100%. I'm not. But we did lose 85 million quid in the COVID year. You know, unfortunately, then this is the other things I say. You know, for those that are interested, the timing of the stadium could not have been worse. We were unfortunate that we made all the plans and started doing it when we did. Then there was a commodities boom. The initial price of the stadium was 400 million. It went to $1 billion. So we have to pay 2.5 times more money than what we actually factored in. Teams like Chelsea scuppered their entire stadium rebuild plan because the price of their stadium was supposed to be 800 million. It's now like 2.5 billion to rebuild it because of the commodities boom.
Went threefold.
So we were lucky in that we avoided that scenario, but we're unlucky in that we did that. We moved into the stadium and then year 1 or year 2, whichever one it was, COVID hit. So we lost 90 million quid last year because, you know, we had to pay all the debt down, but there was no one in the stadium to fill the coffers. So, you know, there's variables. This is what I'm doing. I just like to talk about these things because, you know, it's not spoken about often enough. There are reasons why we didn't pay X amount of money for this, or we didn't pay an extra 30 million for that, because it's not as simple as just saying this club thinks that player's worth 30 million quid and he's definitely going to make us better, therefore pay the fucking money. It's not as simple as that.
Sean, sorry to interrupt. I absolutely do have to go now, mate, I'm afraid.
Okay, mate. Yeah, well, we should probably wrap up anyway. We've been going for 3 hours.
I need
to shit as well. Brian needs another wank. He's been 3 hours without a wank. So. All right, guys. Unless anyone wants to say anything else, I'll start to go around the houses and let everyone know. Let me get the links up. Bob Spur, you go first, bro.
Yeah. Expecting a Leicester win. We should win. We will win. That's my thought. Another 4-1 prediction from me. Regardless of the team that Leicester put out, couldn't give 2 hoots about that. In the Wall this Saturday will be a special one. We're all going to the Curry House, so it's being overtaken by Brian, Mari, Will, if you want, as many guest hosts as possible. I'll be taking the laptop to the Curry House, so there will be many special appearances from the YouTube family there. But Brian's taken over along with whoever in the Wall, which will be on at 8:30 this Saturday night. And then if I get home in time and if I'm sober enough, I'll carry on. But yeah, that's on Saturday night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for Bob spending his Thursday evening on the channel. There's still about 55 people watching across the socials. It's amazing. Thank you for your support, guys. Bob Spur's link is in the comment section. Please hit the link and hit the subscribe button. Will, talk about your tournament. What's coming up?
Go now. Cheers, lads.
Sorry,
you're sitting around any other channel slagging around. Cheers.
Thanks, mate. He's got his KFCs arrived. I think that's why he's
excited. He looks excited about that KFC.
Yeah.
You can find me Will Stewart THFC Rants. Really only doing the post-match shows right now. One, because I'm lazy. Two, because I've been going on a lot of other people's shows lately, so that's always fun. Like this one. It's a fun show. Find us Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, every place you want to go. You can find us there. We'll be going live. I guess it's Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Sunday night, 8:30. I get to start normal time because it's not Saturday. 8:30 Eastern time, and on Sunday night, and we'll be doing that show there. I'll also be on. I've been doing a new show with a regular show on Henry Wright's channel. It's been fun with Sava, called Spurs Corner, and that's on Sunday as well. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Will Stewart is a scholar and a legend. I love his intellect, and I love his
Stats.
Please go over there, jump on the link. It's in the channel, in the comment section. Please hit the link and hit the subscribe button. Show your appreciation for Will Stewart stopping by the channel today. Thank you, mate. I appreciate you so much, Will. Brian Daigle, Tottenham on tour. Link is in the description. Brian, what's coming on the channel, mate?
Right now, fuck knows. I'm sure we'll be doing a
golf, Chelsea. Chelsea just scored, sorry.
Come on!
So,
I'm not sure. Is that what we want? I think it's what we want, isn't it?
Well, it works for me because Dermot said if we've got a bet and if Spurs finish third, he was going to go get a Tottenham on tour tattoo. So, so go on the Chelsea, keep that going. I knew it weren't going to come in. So, Dermot to get a Tottenham on tour tattoo. So I'm not the only crazy one with someone else's tattoo advertising on their body. But yeah, Tottenham on tour. We've got a few things lined up. We're going to do more of those question time shows that we did on Tuesday, which were absolutely wicked. But yeah, you can find me on Tottenham on tour, and I'm going to work the fingers out.
Saturday night, Brian. Saturday night.
Oh, and Saturday night, obviously, I'm taking over in the wall. It could be the very last in the wall because I'm going to get my revenge.
Smash the wall.
No, it will be a great show. It's an honour for the man to the right of me to ask me to do it. And it's not an honour. I'm the only one that's not in England. So like, who's not there and can't make this? Oh, yeah, Brian. But yeah, looking forward to doing that. And yeah, Tottenham on Tour is the home of me with everyone. And you can find me hosting with the Love Lounge on Bob's show. It's 8:30. You said your time. Yes, so 3:30 my time. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's where you can find me. I know you're blatantly seeing me on Will's on Sunday, and it's great because I haven't been able to get on Will shows for so long. But I used to be a regular, like literally the first guest on, last guest off. But because of again the man to the right of me, the time difference and my curfew didn't really work.
It's all Bob's fault.
Yeah, blame Bob. Be like Bob. So I'm going to be on that show. And if it's not a right result, fasten your seatbelts because it's going to be a very, very bumpy ride.
Yeah.
And on that note,
you gotta stop doing that, Brian. Like the first time I saw you doing that, I didn't know why you were doing it. And
1-0 Ronaldo.
I really thought you were having a panic attack, and I was like, "Do I say anything? Like, I don't want to be a dick."
It's
like,
no now.
Did Brian take his medicine?
I want to get you. I want you to get a little tattoo with like a little line down the middle, and then 3 lines either side. So you've got index finger 6-packs from all your workouts you've been doing.
Do you know what? Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
That'll be awesome. Brian, thank you so much. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, the link for Brian is in the for Tottenham Tour is in the channel. Make sure you also, if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button to this channel. You'll see us again. I'm not doing one tomorrow. I think I'll do one Saturday morning, Saturday lunchtime if you want to come and stop by. Guys, we can do a raid. If any of you that are still watching, head over to Shelfside Spurs for, I think it's called Anniversary or something. Go over there and make sure you hit you type into the comments Spurs Talk Show raid so they know that you're all going over from here.
Or piss off Alan.
Piss off Alan as well will be great. Love you all. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I'm going to give Brian the chance to.
I've got it in just in case you cut me off.
Big up the NHS. Big up the NHS.
Bob said the NHS.
And Captain Jizz Pants. Thanks for having me.
And as always, Levy out.
Wear pants.
Levy out.
I haven't got an outro, so I'm just going to press the end button. Cheers, guys. See you again. Ciao, ciao.
Levy out.